fabric will change beyond. So we must build this.
Okay, have no fear. We're here, guys. We're here with you, man, on this lovely Thursday morning, and it's our Thursday program, Thursday sit-down discussion program. We're now kicking into high gear for Thursday, July 16 in the year 2026. And I would have mentioned the early ASPROM and a special event coming up here as part of the Angola Summer Festival promotion as well, and their own promotion. And I've just been joined by Valentia. Samuel. She is. A marketing executive for sure here in Anguilla in a big way, and she have brought us the good news about ASPRO and what's coming up for our people shortly. Valentia, let me say a pleasant good morning to you. Welcome to Class FM Radio.
Good morning, Hamo. Happy Anguilla Summer Festival. How are you doing today?
I am pretty good. We're pretty good this morning. And how about yourself? You good?
I'm really good. Really good. I'm excited.
Excited. Yes.
Excited that Carnival is in the air.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm excited.
Now tell me now. I heard about a pop-up shop. I heard the buzz around town, and this morning I was on my feed, checking the feeds. I saw a youth on there with something going on as well, and the chatters out there. There's a big thing coming at ASPRO at the port sometime. Bring me up to speed. What's going down? What's in the works? What's coming up?
Okay, so next week, the full week from 10 to 5 p.m. ASPRO at the Blowing Point Ferry Terminal, we will be hosting pop-up shops. It's an opportunity for. Yeah, one full week. One full week. So it's an opportunity for event promoters, the bands, the troops, anybody who has anything to sell in reference to Anguilla Summer Festival. They get the opportunity to come down for free, set up shop, and sell to whoever passes through. Because we know that sometimes persons, they come to Anguilla a little bit before Anguilla Summer Festival. At least now they have the opportunity in a centralized area to get much to go back home with and feel like they were a part of the culture just for a little bit.
All right, so much for sure. So again, guys, so for Monday coming, next Monday, God's willing, so at the port and Blowing Point, have what? T-shirts and all the stuff, merchandise, just merch, right?
Yes, so whoever wants to be a part of the pop-up shop, they can just send me an email at molente@gmail.com or look on any of ASPRO's social media platforms to get my email.
All right, so you heard that, man. So that runs from Monday to Friday?
Monday to Friday.
Okay, so all the bands and so whatever you have, just band stuff, T-shirts, whatever you're having.
So the bands who have packages, the Juve Manning packages, the troops who maybe have some costumes that still, that they still want to sell, event promoters who maybe want to do some flash sale for tickets, giveaways, whatever you have in store, you can come down there and advertise your event basically for free of charge on ASPRO.
Okay, free of charge. So your chance to folks out there, you're vending, to come on down there and be able to sell some merchandise. Your tickets too, perhaps, or whatever you're doing. Troops can sell packages too, right?
Yes.
Okay,
everybody.
Troops can sell packages too. We're hearing that for sure. Come on down, man. Your T-shirts, whatever you have. And other bands, some of those bands have their T-shirts and their caps coming in right now, and so it's a good time. They'll order their stuff and they can begin to sell their shirts down there as well.
Yeah.
Should be very festive. So exactly where will the setup be? I mean, I know that down there has some, is it out to the front of the lawn? How will it be set up?
Okay, so essentially it's basically based on how much people buy in, but we would prefer to have it landside so that persons who are already on island can come.
Oh, landside. Good,
if we're having it landside, what we'll do, we'll bar off where the taxis normally come down, and we'll give them that open space because of course we have the canopy there, and they would just need to bring like their table and their chair and set up their merch, and they can sell freely.
Oh, look at that. Okay, so that's a smart idea, yes, Valentia, to place it on the land side of the port, because I mean, yes, because if you go on the seaside of the port, first have to go in there, you can't get it like that. So so out here, people can come down and purchase, support the happenings right there. That's a great idea. Okay, and this will be open from what time to what time? From
10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
every day
next week.
Next week. All right. So persons who wish to vend now, who wish to be able to be a part of the pop-up ASPRO Carnival sale of the merchandise, is the registration? You have to go through a registration.
No registration.
System?
Everything is free.
Yeah.
Everything is free. You just send me an email and you tell us, basically when you want to come down. I will get on to the port manager, the harbor master, and those guys, they would just make sure that everything is in order for you. It's free of charge. It's just Asper's way of trying to build the vibes within the community for Anguilla Summer Festival 2026.
All right, you hear that? So, guys, you heard that. So, be a part of that for sure. In a big way, man, for sure. So, support Asper and, of course, support our local our talent, really, because they're the ones who will need to have the funding to do their carnival stuff, right? For sure. And Asper providing a platform where they can vend it, really, and sell their stuff, right?
And it doesn't stop there.
There's more?
Yes, more.
There's more. Okay,
Yes.
tell me, there's more.
So starting tomorrow, in collaboration with the Anguilla Summer Festival and the Anguilla Tourist Board, we will be hosting welcome receptions, welcoming persons into the island. So tomorrow we're starting at Blowing Point, and next week we will be at the Clayton J. Lloyd International Airport. But that weekend, leading into the heart of Carnival, we will be at both ports on the Thursday and the Friday simultaneously. On those days, we are going to have a grand display. So we're going to have live performances, we're going to have cultural displays, we're going to have vendors with samples. So we're trying to build up the vibe, so welcome persons back home, welcome persons to the destination for the first time, and just make the experience of arrival enjoyable for everyone.
For everyone, for everyone. Okay, so you heard that, folks, will be a part of that. So the whole lot going on. Whoa, okay, good. Good news again. So one more time, repeat that for me one more time. For person, I'm gonna make sure that they get the information in their ears, because I mean it's exciting stuff you're talking here now. So just to summarize, repeat what you said to me earlier about the additional stuff that's happening down there.
Okay, so perfect. So from tomorrow onward, every Friday we'll be at the ports. It's a collaboration between the Anguilla Summer Festival as well as the Anguilla Tourist Board. What we will be doing is welcome receptions, welcoming persons back to the island. Tomorrow we're actually also collaborating with creative distributors, and we will have Amstel Bright to give out to the residents and the persons returning to the island. We've also we have some decor that we're doing. So we already erected an arch at the airport. We're gonna erect an arch for photo ops, of course, at the Blowing Point Ferry Terminal, and we have a surprise box that we're going to put outside of the Blowing Point Ferry Terminal, so persons can get an opportunity to have a festive photo op. So that's what we have going on. And on the weekend leading into Carnival, so the 30th and the 31st, we're going to go grand. We're having 2 welcome receptions in one day. So we're going to have one at the Clayton J. Lloyd International Airport as well as the Blowing Point Ferry Terminal on both days. Both days are going to have cultural displays. So we're talking about steel pan, we're talking Makajumbi, we're talking live performances.
They look nice, real nice, real nice, you know. And I really want to just see that for my own eyes for real, man. It should be lovely, huh? Yeah, man. I'll bring a Carnival vibe to the ports here in Anguilla. Asper making sure that they are playing their part in Summer Festival promotion here in Anguilla, folks. And you should be a part of that too. So we have to commend Asper in what they're doing now for sure for our Summer Festival. So as you hit the port, the vibe is there. One time.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And we can't forget that we're collaborating with Summer Festival as well as the Anguilla Tourist Board. It's been amazing working and collaborating with these guys to get this energy up for everyone.
Right. Yeah, for sure, man. Okay, so just about 2 minutes now before 11 in the morning time. So the good news is that Asper, they're out front for sure, in a big rain, leading from the front by example. And as of tomorrow, yes, at the ports here, the airport and seaport, they're gonna have welcoming celebrations for you. And now, as of Monday coming, God's willing, they're gonna have the Asper pop-up shops, right? Really down there at the port as well for 5 days, Monday to Friday. So you can persons who have T-shirts and troops in their organizations, and some festival groupings, whatever you're doing, you're selling stuff, you can start by there. And just email Valentia. Yeah, what's your email again?
Valentia@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You can find it on any of Asper's social media platforms. So
as well.
On Instagram, it's Anguilla_ports. My email, you can find it in our most recent postings. On Facebook, it is Anguilla ANC Port Authority. You can find my email there as well.
All right, big things that go on, folks. So as we're doing a big time around here, so folks, again, so from tomorrow morning, you're gonna see the airport and the seaport all beautified, right? All lovely, pretty up for sure. You have costumes and different things up in the area. Makajumbis are waiting for them one time. I love it. I love this one. I love this show, guys, and so we're getting ready to kick off Carnival big time. So this is Ashford along with Tourist Board, right?
Along with Tourist Board, along with the Anguilla Summer Festival Committee.
Yeah, working together, man, to really brighten up the summer festival for this year, for sure, in a big way. All right, is there more, Melinda? Is there more?
For right now, there isn't anymore.
Yes.
But I mean, we are still working behind the scenes because, of course, we also have the passport promotion. So we will be working to incorporate that some way in this. So just stay tuned. You never know, we might have some more giveaways as well.
Some more giveaways as well. All right, thank you, Valentia, for the good news, man. You brought some great news this morning for sure to the people of Anguilla. I love what I'm getting there, man, for you for sure, man. Great news, man. All right, so yeah, man. So thank you, Valentia. All the best. Take care.
Thank you, Hammer. Have a good day.
Okay,
Happy
good.
Summer Festival.
I'll see you, my dear. Okay, class the firm here in the morning time. Minute now be down after 11. That's our time here, and that's our time here this morning. Glass FM Radio 92.9 in the morning time now. So okay, so all right. So just to let you know, well, folks, they are calling me about the McKenna this morning again. She had an issue this morning with some white smoke, right? And when I saw the videos going around, and I heard a commentary from somebody on the Steve Sinkett side of things. And I looked at the video and I saw that I told the person next to me, that's nothing to worry about. With engines, you get that sometimes. When an engine malfunction, you get smoke, really, folks. When these engines malfunction, you get smoke. So I reached out a while ago and I was informed that it was a mechanical issue, yes, with the engine. But the boat is safe, the people are safe, everything is safe, right? So, but I saw the video going around full speed around the spots a while ago here. And you're right to be concerned about these things, but the McKenna is at the dock, really, and it's a mechanical issue that they're working on. Sometimes the diesel engines and boats, when there's a failure, sometimes injector pump can act up too sometimes, and you have smoke from all sorts of things in the diesel engine, and so many things that cause the smoke. So when you see a lot of white smoke coming through on an engine, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it looks bad. It looks worse than what it seems like to you, but they're good. They're docked up now, and in fact, McKenna issued an update a while ago too. McKenna would have said that the smoke was caused by a mechanical issue involving the vessel's the turbocharge unit. You see, so the turbocharge went bad. So turbocharge really will cause it to behave like that for real. Okay, so they're working on that unit right now, turbocharger. All right, so be advised of that. So people would have seen that, and there's a video going around online. I saw it too, going around. But the boat is docked up. She's at the dock, really and truly, and they're looking at that issue right now. So once they rectify that, she'll be on the run again. So those things happen. But man, the social media ain't easy, man. Those guys are online there and they say she's smoking and she's on fire. one guy said. But when I saw the video and I looked at the boat how she was running, I told myself that was the engine in the engine house down below in the engine room. Okay, so and it was right. So that's where it is right now. So turbocharge unit went had an issue. It resulted in a fire. It was not. Okay, and it was not the result of a fire. No fire. It was just a turbocharger caused it to burn diesel white. And when you burn diesel white, it will be white for sure. And washing over boats too and all those things, engines. So you'd know how it will work. But it happens all the time. Sometimes, not to boats only, but to trucks and excavators. Wherever you have these engines running, when they go bad, you either get black smoke or white smoke. Sometimes you get no smoke at all. Sometimes you just don't start. Right? So sometimes you don't start at all either. Right? So just to let you know that. So I was on to the McKenna ownership a while ago, and ownership says it's not a big deal, and they're working it out. Okay, they're working it out. Things that happen all the time. One time the McKenna, really and truly, I mean, those boats work hard. Going up the islands there, you may not know it though, but going up the islands there, Sabre Station, that would be some bowl of water. A lot of water, and one time she threw a shaft up there one time, really, because I mean that happened with her too. She threw a shaft one time. That boat runs every single day, so they have to keep that boat in top shape all the time, because to run Sabre Station water channel, it ain't a regular run. So there's a lot of running that take place up there, right? So so they're rectifying the issue with the turbocharge unit, and so the smoke was caused by that issue with the turbocharger. Okay, so turbochargers are designed to let me see if I can remember my mechanical stuff. Designed to create more speed more speed, even more power, and more revolutions with the use of less fuel. They're designed to give you that type of a push, and that they've been around for a long time. So remember it, yes. Turbochargers does that for you, give you more speed, more power, without you expending more and more fuel. And they are very efficient units to have in engines. You have them on cars too, those fast cars, turbochargers on them, and trucks have them for sure. Turbocharger units are there on those things. Airplanes have them too, and they're there for a reason. So when they really go bad, they result in either black smoke or white smoke. You get that for sure. So in this case, we got some white smoke from McKenna this morning as she was coming in. All right, so folks, and again, Team Blues and the boys said that they're working on that. And so Blues said that following the inspection, the passengers were able to reboard the vessel for its scheduled departure. Passengers who chose not to continue the journey were issued a refund. So the boat was back on the run a long time. She was back and going one time. So the public entity saver understands that the visible smoke caused concerns and appreciate the public's patience and understanding. So, but the boat is back on the run again. She's gone again. She's on the move right now. She's not parking away. She was there. They fixed that problem. She's back on the move one time. Okay, so that tells you that it was not a big problem. But social media, you see smoke, man, that's a problem. So I would have gotten that picture from so many persons, and so many persons out there, and this morning. Okay, so that's what it is right now. Turbocharged unit really went bad. All right, so folks, right now we're here, and just about 6:30 down 11. That's our time. So Rasa Washington's in the building, folks. Right now, I bring him in right now. He's gonna bring with you until around 12 thereabout. Yes, he'll be with you for a bit here on Class FM. To be followed by Shelia Rogers Webster, Minister of Education, Services, and she'll be followed by Josephine Gums-Connor and attorney at law, and Carlisle Rogers. They'll be our guests here today on the program. So let's bring Wasi in now, and here today on the program, right? So Class FM here in the morning time. So yep. So all is well, folks. Don't panic about the McKenna, and she's okay, and the guys are okay too. It was a simple issue with one of the turbochargers on one of the engines really acted up this morning. Okay, and that is perfectly normal. Things happen like that sometimes. All right. So folks, you hold the spot you've got.
Blessed are they that keeps the commandments, for they have a right to the tree of life. Don't press, I say, cannot enter. Hypocrites too cannot enter. Jah cometh quickly, is reward for you and me to judge you for the work you do. Yeah, no liars and thieves cannot enter into blinded people cannot enter. No false prophets and false teachers cannot enter. Oh, blessed are they that keep the commandment. No dumb persons cannot enter. No, no racist and pagan hearted.
Okay, so folks, the man is here. Rasta man is in the building right now. Rasta wants to take guys for show, man, on the program today. Let me go across the greet Rasta, the man himself, and brother. I'll let you a pleasant good morning to you and welcome to the program.
Good morning to you also, Brother Hammer, and thanks for having us. Good morning to all the positive people on the planet, the real positive people. Don't pretend to be positive, Be positive. Good morning again to all the positive people on the planet. God bless you guys, and just keep the faith, and don't leave nobody get your train derailed. If you want to derail your train, you can try that, but don't leave no one else derail your train. If you derail it yourself, you can put it back on the track. If someone else derail your train, then you really got a problem.
That's for sure. Don't allow that at all, bro. But bro, we're here on this Thursday morning. We're in the world. Lots of things are going on in the world right now, and you're well aware of it as well, brother. You've been following the happenings in the world today. There's so much things to say right now. So much things to say right now.
We got the Bob Marley.
Yes, yeah, man. Got so much to say right now in the world right now. What is happening, bro? And the issue of peace in the Middle East, we would have seen the signing of treaties, peace deals, but their bombings are continuing every day. The price of oil is still is up one up leg again. The impact is real across the entire world. Also in Angola, we too are experiencing the effects of that stuff.
Of course, we're part of the universe.
Yeah, the universe for sure. That's one of the areas we're facing right now in a big way. That's a big one for sure. Also on the home front issue of parliamentarians paying into the pension system for years. They were not paying. I believe that was wrong. They should be paying into the pension system.
So they never pay, but they take out.
So benefiting for years.
These are demons you're dealing with,
So it is now coming to the. It is now being worked on. We're hearing, and there was a motion brought to the House by the opposition by the APM the other day, and I heard the minister shot back say that they were working on it before they brought a motion. The need to get it right. That's what I'm hearing right now. So there's a back and forth on that. But either way, whoever it is who have done it, I think it's good for Angola that they pay into that system too. Because they're benefiting the most for years. Not paying to the system.
That's highway robbery. If you look between the lines, it may look fair to those who get in. But to those who ain't getting in, understand what's going on, it can't be fair to them. No.
Also, the issue of government buildings and WASI and the quality of construction. Yesterday, I was called by a number of persons, a couple of guys who asked me to come up by the high school to see something on Campus Q with them. I ain't coming. I said, come. Campus Q, the work of the quality of work of the row. A lot of leaks. That new construction. That's a new buildings, but leaking a lot too.
You pay cheap, you get cheap.
No, but they pay top dollar.
Top dollar for cheap. What?
But how could that be? I think the issue though, what they need though is to have personnel on the jobs who are ensuring quality. Inspectors.
Brother Hammer, there are people on this planet with all kind of papers, but they ain't qualified to do the job still.
The guys can do the work, man.
But I'm
watching them, don't oversee them.
No, but if you could do the work, you don't need nobody watching you.
I watch them by.
You're working to get paid. You're getting what you asked for. Give the people, right?
I agree with you that too.
Give the people the quality that would match up to what you're working for. You don't need a soul coming on a job watching. But I might did some jobs already, even though you remember last Thursday you mentioned but somebody saying, oh, I ain't had this and I ain't had this, but I still do better job than who got it.
Big job.
You understand where you're coming from? Much better jobs too than who got papers and all kind of. This is why I tell you, I might not have a great leaf, but there's a lot of men there with papers fat so I will make them look so small and stupid and go hide themselves when they come on doing a lot of things around here in Angola. Wrong engineering, putting up things and taking down things and planning the best way how to do things. They can't touch Rasta when they come to them things. We were designed to be creative. You understand? We were designed to be creative. That's why we had always been creative enough to call on the Caribbean islands from way back in the 70s to come together as one body. To never happen. Now we talking about doing it. When half of us ain't speaking properly with each other. when someone was pulling this way, others pulling that way, and talking about democracy. I'll tell you something, Brother Emma. Every green I hear in my head does rise when I hear that word democracy called around here, you know, because I know there's no such thing as a democracy around here, and beyond. I sure you heard me say this already. America was the closest country on the planet to democracy. What they do with it? They destroy it. So there's no democracy nowhere on this planet.
You know, and
None.
Stick a pen there, brother. This week in London, I told you off air that the CARICOM Committee on Reparations for enslaved Africans, chattel slavery, they are in the UK, and they met with King Charles, and they will speak at the Parliament this week as well in the UK. And Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, who leads the CARICOM Committee on Reparations, would have mentioned that he's also concerned of recolonization. He said people are using their armies, going to other countries and taking them over.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
he
mentioned that, recolonization.
You remember last, I said before, but remember last they said nobody could do that to me, and you smile?
Yeah, I laugh.
Yeah, you smile, you laugh about it. They said nobody could colonize this Rasta man.
No.
Because we know that it's a trap.
Yeah.
You know, so when he was calling on Anguilla, well, we were the guys who really wanted Anguilla to go the right way. But whoever take it since then, you know, the only chief minister I still recognize in Anguilla is Ronald Webster. The rest of them is pure bull.
Yeah.
You check the history of them. You don't just check a 2-day thing. Check 50, 60 years of Anguilla history and see what politicians did to Anguilla. Check it out good.
I know, man.
It is politicians who destroy Anguilla.
A lot of damage.
Damage that can't get fixed, Brother Hammer.
Yeah.
Damages that cannot get fixed. That's why I be telling people that this little place is in hell. No, there are people that don't agree with it. You remember some time ago, I asked the question. I asked any Anguillian who got enough nerves to answer the question. I asked them to name me 3 things that would put Anguilla in heaven. Up to now, nobody mentioned nothing. So they ain't got me having the right to say that Anguilla's in hell still. Until somebody could convince me that Anguilla doing at least 3 things to say, well, okay, she in heaven. Anguilla's in the depths of hell, and until there's something, you know, it ain't floating up, you know.
No.
It's going down. It doesn't matter what happened in your land in terms of development. As long as your people become the inferior in your land gone down. Because it's the people who just keep a land up. It's people. And if the people who supposed to be bringing things up, pushing things down, where we can go? Where we can go? You see how them treat Rasta? They didn't listen to Rasta. If they had listened to Rasta, the whole of the Caribbean, the world would have been better. Because I'll share something, in the early 70s, just like I want to repeat it again, we as Rasta, I know there are some people who get a kind of little shaky when they say these things, but I have a right to say these things, Brother Hammer, because there's an experience that we experience trying to get these kind of matters into progress to help build our country. We wanted to be a part of the development. And those of them who say we had a chance and we didn't do it, they ain't follow the history properly. Otherwise they wouldn't talk so dumb. They don't know what Rasta went through when he tried. They don't have a clue. You know, from day one up to now, is Rasta, the system I always fight against Rasta up to now. Up to now. I just want to bust in this little question here, but did they take Ras Bucket with them when they went some week last week when they went away? They take him?
I don't think so.
If he listened, I want him to call and tell us if they take him, because he was the most experienced man in my book that it was supposed to be taken with him. But don't be Rasta around here or even elsewhere and think you can get away with things easy, you know. The system always fight against Rasta because they're afraid of our views. And our views is too honest. Our views that we have sharing, it ain't about robbing people, but they have to rob people. So their views gonna be different. We wanted unity among our people, agriculture we had like 300 or 400 sites that we was looking at. Fishing, we didn't have fish factory and all them thing in Anguilla already. We'd have had food growing here in Gallo because we know we was gonna need food. We know we was gonna need fish in order we could make money and eat and enjoy a fresher meat rather than going eating all kind of thing. You understand? In tourism, we were supposed to own every room in on this little island. Anguillians and our entities. Remember, we had hotels here before the oppressors started to take over, you know. So why we wouldn't elevate our own hotels? Why we wouldn't help the owners to extend, do this, do that? Don't worry, man, we got money. This is what I want money for, is to develop Anguilla. You understand? Our 5 entities, we had 2 banks, doing well.
Very well.
Social Security,
Very well.
Anglet, and our treasury, the 5 of those entities. I mean, up to now, I never even hear a soul even say, draw a reference to what I say about them things. You know who was supposed to be owning these rooms in Angola? Our entities.
I know.
How come our entities ain't own nothing? That's why they got so much a problem. That's why they got money problem. Because if they was owning, if they was in hotels, making sure that the room belongs to us, they wouldn't have no problem. You think England will want money?
No, sir.
We don't want the money to do it.
It might be there.
The kind of millions of dollars that is oppressors that be sharing up every year, that money would have been going to 5 of our entities sharing fair. Because each man gonna put in a fair amount. So when we share, Tina, you gonna get $10.05. If it's $10, everybody get $10. If 5 cents leave over, we trade back inside the bulk. Leave it keep growing.
Yeah.
Right? And when we get ourselves to a certain level, having these rooms, because I'm talking about 4 5 stars, 1 West End, 1 East End, 1 North, and 1 South. 4. I don't have a people that drive all the way West End a whole half hour or more to get that job. Some of them could have walked to them job. And could have had less cars on the road right now, causing confusion and in a little and that don't even have roads for them. You understand? All them things them destroy because them destroy Rasta. Because we wanted to go independent, you know, Brother Emma, but we were going to set a stage that when we set our stage, we making sure that we could go forward with independence. And then we would have draw in our other leaders in the Caribbean and tell them, look now, we all need to walk this road. But we wasn't going to do it until we know we could walk it. Because if they differ from walking it, we could have stepped out and walk it on our own and do our thing still. Nothing like that happened. They beat us, they kick us, they pull out our locks, they jail us, they plan to be in our house, then lock us up. Young people, you guys don't have a clue about what Rasta went through here in this place, you know. Don't have a clue. We trying to help. We wasn't trying to mash up nothing. We were trying to help our people and develop our nation for our people. Right now, we are the inferior as Anguillians. We are the inferior. And I'll tell you something, no matter what they do right now, it ain't gonna change there. Because they open a gate, the 2 sides, they ain't like, you know, when you got a double gate, and you open 1 half, they ain't open 1 half, you know. They open both halves now. So we are being flooded and re-flooded, and then we're not even at the end of this day because long time we've done in problem already. Lots of problems. So another thing, Brother Hammer, I am here also to send a clear message to all the women on this planet, not in Angola, just Angola, all the women on this planet. Every woman on this planet that goes in a church and preach, she need to repent and ask God for forgiveness.
Why is that, Rossi?
Because women are supposed to be silent in church.
But you joined Pastor now? Pastor had this.
No, but it's true. It is true.
And the persons are criticizing him up to this very
That
day.
because they don't know no better.
I heard him being criticized up yesterday by some people.
They do know better, Brother Hammer. You understand where I come from? One time a lady come to me, she was preaching about preaching too. You know what I said to her? I asked her, I said, do you know that women are to be silent in church? You know what the woman tell me? Things change. So who changed things? God or man?
I don't know. The things change, you know.
She said things change. So who changed the things? God or man? Which mistake God make that he had to come back to change anything? God ain't, from the time God created this earth and everything with it, God ain't had a thing to fix. So he didn't make a mistake. Every day that he walked, he said it was good. He didn't finish work a day and say, no, today was not that good. I didn't get to do so. Every time he finishes the job of the day, he said it was good. So why he have to come now and fix anything when everything he did was professionally done? How come? And the other thing too, I'm here to be serious about churches burying their dead on the Sabbath, disrespecting the same God. The same God that you're going in church and say, oh, you're shouting, you're going on and calling God's name. It's the same God you're disrespecting by burying your dead on the Sabbath. So that's another sin too.
On Saturdays?
That's another sin too. Nobody's supposed to bury a dead on the Sabbath. Nobody. That's why I tell you that Pope that died just a few years ago,
Pope Francis.
he gone straight in here like a judge. You know why he could judge? Because Easter Sunday, he called on Russia to stop bombing Ukraine.
Just stop on time.
Okay?
The whole season.
Good. Stop bombing Ukraine because this is Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
This is a great day.
Yeah.
This is his Sabbath day. And he asked to be buried on the Sabbath. So he asked for it. He didn't say that he was put in that position after he been a dead carcass. He asked for it and they bury him on the Sabbath. So don't tell me that Rome is a godly place. And every church on this planet that worship on a Sunday, they're directly under Rome. No mistake about it. They're under Rome. They either got to be God church or the devil church, And that church ain't a church that God put together, That's a church that Rome put together after becoming the state. They put that together 25 years after the calendar started. 25 years after they give us that church, and got a whole world now following them with them foolishness.
The Roman Catholics, the Roman people.
You understand where I'm coming from? Check the picture good, And the other thing I want to tell women, that I respect, don't think that God is on your side if you as a woman anywhere on this planet running a country, because God ain't on your side. God prohibit that.
Wow.
God prohibit that.
I heard personally the same story sometime ago
understand?
here that God says that women should not lead, and all that stuff. I mean,
But common sense alone, women was given to us as more or less like a gift, but not just a gift that they could take advantage of. You understand? A gift that you're supposed to cherish. A gift that's supposed to walk behind you, not even side of you, behind you to see, keep an eye on you to see if you make a bad step. Hey, you just make a bad step, your husband, or whatever you want to call him. You just make a bad step. And then he got to stop now, and then there's a conversation, and we rectify that, and we go in again. Because there shouldn't be no confusion between a man and a woman.
No.
They go and they say they're married for life, they're married for this, next day them got a boyfriend or a girlfriend out there still. What they be emptying them telling God? Huh? What they telling God? Any woman on this planet that is head of any country, you guys better drop it and go and repent and ask God for forgiveness. Because God is not for that. God did not give mankind dominion over nothing. God gave man dominion over all things. Let us get it right. I mean, the rest of got to be preaching these things to them all the time.
I think so.
So any woman on this planet, here, there, elsewhere, that is a leader of a country, God ain't working with that, because he would be a biased God. Because if he can say that no woman should be head of a country, then the drawing to say, well, he for that woman, then he'll be a biased God, and I wouldn't be afraid to say it. And I know that God ain't a biased God.
No, he's a just God.
He's a just God. And if he say he don't want that, he mean he don't want that. He gonna come tomorrow and say, you know what, buy hammer. I tell you the day before yesterday, don't take a bad thing from there, but you could take it up today. God ain't that kind of man. Mankind, the weakness of man, you'll get that from man. No woman supposed to be preaching in the church. No woman should be head of a country, nowhere on the planet. So all you Caribbean leaders, women and beyond, I hope that I are listening, because this is a message, this is a strong, and this is a serious, and this is a warning from a higher heights. You understand? This is a warning. This is a warning. Stop. Abolish it, whatever position you got. Once you're talking about you being a woman or being a leader, you're out of it. Man, not mankind. Mankind is referring to man and woman. But when he said man, he didn't mean woman. And another thing too, just for an example, I will ask you guys a question. How come Jesus didn't choose one woman in his 12 disciples?
He chose other men, right?
Only men. 12 men, only men, and they always resters. And Jesus himself is a rester.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, God rester.
That's right. Nobody's supposed to bury a dead on the Sabbath.
Yeah, like
They're disrespecting God.
Okay. Okay, you see? Okay, good. And we doing it commonly. I mean, I ain't saying it because it may be one or two come up thing. I've been saying it a long while now. So I didn't plan to say this morning to upset nobody. I'm telling you, this is a straight message from the Almighty coming through the Spirit, flowing like a river. Nobody in their right mind will bury the dead on God's day. You can worship God every day of the weekend, Brother Hammer. But that specific day is a day you cannot be out there burying dead on God's day, the day that He chooses. I mean, He give us so much of time and just check one little piece, one little day for Himself, and we got to go and destroy that too, and say that we out here praising God. How you disobeying God and telling me that you're praising God still? You can't disobey your father and then you still tell me on the street, oh boy, I love my father, boy. I love my father.
But these things were in place for, I mean, as you said earlier, from way back in the day, and they became part of the norm, traditions, the culture of the church. I mean, that's what happened there.
Because you know why?
The Romans are the ones who would have cultured this into the society.
Exactly.
They would have done that.
And that's not God's church, that's the devil church.
Well, the Pope controls the world. I mean,
the Pope in control the world.
When I observe that Vladimir Putin, the Russian leader, stop bombing Ukraine and protest stop.
Okay.
Powerful, man.
Good.
That's powerful stuff, you know.
See, when you see how wicked he was now, why he didn't ask for everybody to stop forever? Why he didn't call on all of them to shut down what they're doing that wasn't right? He asked for just for his day. But he could have go to church and enjoy. No bombing today. He in church going on like a dud bike.
No bombing today.
No bombing today. But the following day, which was Monday, the whole place mash up again. And you're going to tell me you got all that power. Why he wouldn't tell him, don't you ever drop a bomb nowhere on this planet again and call on America and all them the same thing. Don't let me hear anyone or even fire a pistol. Why he wouldn't say something like that? The rest of it say something like that because the rest of the denounce violence, no matter how high or how low it is, we will denounce it. Because a tree don't pop up on the ground big, you know. You plant to see the come up a little, in fact the ground will crack first. If you're looking at it, it cracks, a little crack open in the ground first, then the peep out.
Yeah, for real.
You understand?
Yeah, see, you come slow, you go take your time
and grow.
Yeah.
And grow. And if whoever is responsible for you and they take care of you, you will grow. But God can't take care of us if we ain't taking care of God. How God gonna take care of us and we ain't taking care of God? How they gonna walk?
But the Romans over the years, though, for some reason, I don't know, I mean, the Bible, from days of the Bible, they were very powerful people in the Bible.
That's what they did for themselves. They did that for themselves, but because they was idiots and they wanted us, people who supposed to be God-fearing people, to believe that there was no other God, like there was no creator. Wherever you come and meet, them created. No. Before that calendar and before Rome, this earth was already put together thousands a year. Some people say millions, but I would say thousands.
At least 4,000 plus.
You understand?
Yeah.
So this world was put together by God long before the calendar. And Jesus came since the calendar too. Otherwise, how they was going to register Jesus the 25th of December? If the calendar wasn't here before Jesus. God was around thousands of years before Jesus. You understand where I'm coming from? Why the ministers don't free up themselves and tell the people the truth? Why them don't do that? I ain't picking after nobody. I just want to know why they don't do the right. Why they don't do the right? Why? A minister will know that you's a devil or a hell in his church, and he will never tell you, look, if you can repent and be different, just leave my church. Them can't do that. Because when the devil out of hell in the church, when he leaving the church, remember there's no more collection from he. Because he gone. You understand? So a lot of these ministers, they know that they got hell in church, you know. But they've been fixing that. They've been fixing that. And also, that money that they're collecting in the church ain't supposed to build no church. That money is supposed to go and help poor people, help the elderly, help the little youths that need help. You understand where I come from? Now, the 7-day goer, I got a beating for he too. Even though I support him, I got a beating for he too. You know why? He is running with the same God that the Romans give us. I bet you don't find here with the Bible with the 81 books. Huh? I bet you don't find here with the Bible with 81 books.
That's the man.
So he's still under Rome to a certain degree. You understand where I'm coming from? He's still, tomorrow next day, Saturday for here, you know, he got to go to church tomorrow next day. According to the moon, tomorrow next day ain't the Sabbath. You understand where I'm coming from? The moon may be just around 72 hours right now. She up now, she may be going up on 70. She's 60 something hours, the moon. It's about 60 some odd, 60 hours maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe 61 hours, somewhere in the area.
But the Romans would have changed all the stuff what you're talking now for a better system, to say, a better system that they were able to create over the years, what we have here. And they give a reason why. They say it was somewhat off balance.
Brother Hammond, it was not off balance. God didn't make nothing off balance. It is them being ignorant and stupid and dumb because they want to create their own thing. If they had followed God's way, we wouldn't even have this conversation this morning in this manner.
No.
They never followed God's way. We need to understand. I try to tell people, but they just wonder, where this rest of man getting this information from? You want to get this kind of information they're getting? Just know God and find God. Don't be about in a rum shop and go find God. Don't go in the church looking for God. God don't go no church. He's on the outside looking in. Don't go in the church to find God. A minister may say, oh, you shouldn't say that. How he would mean they shouldn't say that? Which church Jesus is to be in? In fact, Jesus wasn't a preacher, you know. We got to get this clear too. Jesus was a messenger. He wasn't a preacher. He was a messenger. A preacher and a messenger is two different things. You know who's preachers? The people that make themselves and call themselves preachers.
Yeah, the apostles and the...
There was nothing called preachers in Jesus' time. No preachers. They were messengers. They all had their own program to carry out. No two of them had the same program, you know. Even down to Judas, he had his own too. Jesus didn't know that Judas was a bad apple, but he had to choose a bad apple to put amongst the rest apples for we to understand the difference between the good apple and the bad apples. You understand where I'm coming from? That's why he chose a Judas. He knew there was a Judas. And the other thing I want to tell these ministers, stop saying that Jesus came. Jesus ain't came nowhere. Jesus was given to us in flesh. You understand? To follow as an example. So he was no preacher. He had a church about Ball to go in from down St. Thomas. These fellas, they could be preaching about an hour. If they wouldn't let you, hit them down Long Bay. Loud, let them frighten people. Yeah. To hear Jesus, people had to go close to Jesus to hear Jesus, you know.
He was soft-spoken.
Okay.
Very soft-spoken.
You understand where I'm coming from? So these preachers, they make themselves preachers. They are not disciples of the Almighty. But Hammer, you know, I know, that there's a lot of preachers out there doing a lot of demonism. Okay, good. Now, while they're doing that, you think that God really can choose you or me or anybody to be a preacher? In fact, God don't choose preachers. He chooses messengers. A preacher chooses himself. And then other people who look at him as a preacher. Oh, Pastor this, yeah.
Big name.
Pastor the other.
Big name,
big name that he give himself. You understand? He's supposed to be a messenger. Bob Marley was a messenger. I here this morning, nowhere as a preacher. I am here as a messenger, because that's all I can be, a messenger. If God chooses you to be a messenger, you will be a messenger. So when the preacher say that, oh, he was inspired by God, yeah, remember the devil's spirit does inspire people too. And your imagination does inspire you too. According to what you think your imagination will have you achieving, you gone crazy too. Leaving God on the back burner. Right now, God is on the back burner for these fellas, you know. Them throw God behind the stove. With them kind of behavior. Married men in church, married women in church, you think that God gonna be in a church to do what? What God gonna go in a church to do, man? What God gonna go in a church to do?
To teach.
What is in that church for God to go in there and say, well, you know what? I am God of the universe, and I come here to preach a sermon. God stay outside, but he could see you on the wall. But he ain't in there. He's seeing through. It's a difference between seeing through and being there.
Yeah.
You understand where I'm coming from? They're running God away from us, trying to chase him, throw him behind the stove, and telling us that they got the power to do what? You know what Obeah in the churches?
That too.
Brother Hammer, the church is full of Obeah. God is a Obeah man?
No. But you know what? But in Africa, though, I'll tell you this: what I read somewhere here online. Obeah is a religion in Africa. It's what we are, though. All people back home in Africa, they practice that as a religion of a church. Obeah is a religion.
Well, they got a problem. You think that everything coming out of Africa will meet you?
No, but Obeah is a true thing, though.
No, when I say so, you think that God would accept that?
What happened for years?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how much years it happened. God don't accept them
so
things.
those people worship something else with that Obeah thing.
Okay, good.
So it came from Africa with
Some people worship an idol. And then they're going on with them thing and throwing powder and doing all kind of thing in front of an idol. God is not an idol. God is not an idol. What we are doing is messing up the word of God with our foolishness. We're doing foolishness and saying, God what? Huh? No, Brother Hammer, why would God go in a church that is controlled by Rome? And the Roman soldiers is the ones who were sent, who was given orders to kill God's children, so God don't go in a church. No, God just wait until the time comes for him to just burn some fire.
You burn them?
Oh, yeah, you burn some real fire. You can burn, yeah, he must burn fire. He say he ain't gonna flood this earth again. He flooded once upon a time.
Yeah, it pained his stomach to see what was happening.
And he ain't gonna flood this time, so he can charcoal up everything now. So there ain't gonna be nothing to see, no dead carcasses, because everything will burn up.
Yeah. The Bible says when he saw the scope of the destruction, he was troubled in the spirit. The next time he went with this, he was
The Bible say that?
Yeah. He was troubled, and he saw the destruction after that big flood. He was troubled.
Sonny, that's some kind of little funny-ish.
That's what the Bible says.
That's some a little funny-ish.
Yeah.
Because God know what happened before it happened.
Yeah, but he still mentioned next time will be fire. Yeah.
That kind of funny-ish. Yeah, you understand where I'm coming from?
It may not be word for word, but along those lines, though,
Then we better get into the right lines. Yeah, we can't be along funny lines and get things fixed. We better be in the right lines. Brother Hammer, this argument about this property in England, some is for, some is against. I could sit here and say that I agree with who for it. I could also say agree with who's against it. My personal opinion about this specific thing, we should know what kind of real relationship we got with England. Do we know?
Yes, we know.
Do we know what kind of relationship we have with England?
Of course, we have it, yes.
In what manner?
We are colony.
Real colonized.
Of Britain, of Great Britain.
Yeah, see, until it's supposed to be.
Colony of Great Britain.
Because until it's something, we're going to pick back at democracy again. It had never, let me repeat myself, it had never been a democracy in England.
No, never did.
Queen-macracy, no, we got king-macracy. When he switched it over to maybe another king-macracy, England do know nothing, the system do know nothing about democracy, because it had never had a democracy there. So when we hear an Anguillan song so dumb talking about democracy, something really wrong with us, we really colonized, because there's no democracy around here, my brethren. Democracy come from being independent, number one. We attack your vessel in your own time. If you go to attack your vessel right now in England, say, you know what, you got to go north a little further, where you going to do? You attack it? You're going to go for the north, because there's control. You're being colonized. So why should me, me personally, because I don't say already that all parties right,
Yes.
But why should me personally want to go have any kind of links with England when England is the enemy? Eh?
But at the same time, though, you have to deal with them because you're not independent.
Brother Hammer,
So you have to deal with them still.
you know why we're independent right now? Because of foolish leaders. Because that couldn't happen under Rasta. In 1984, Angola had been completely independent. In fact, we were independent already, you know.
The father of the nation declared independence.
We wasn't. Remember, we had our own money and our own flag.
Yeah.
We had two different flags. I can't remember exactly. We had a black flag here one time too.
Oh yeah.
So you see, our own money.
Own constitution. You had one written by Cox and Phillips and team.
Good,
New constitution. You would have had that. You
Good.
would have had a lot of
good,
things.
good.
Yeah.
So what happened to us along the line?
He rolled back. He himself rolled back too.
You know what? You know what rolled back? You know what rolled we back in Angola? 59, 60 years ago.
He slipped some as well. He did some. He hauled back after a while. He was promised lots of things. He was promised roads and hospitals and you name it. He was. I mean, the British they lavished him with all of these things. I mean, these talks were they were fancy talks, and he fell for it and he signed the documentation. Never happened for us.
Okay, good.
He was fooled.
He was fooled.
Yeah, by those people.
No, I wouldn't blame Mr. Webster for that. I would blame who played that trick on him, because that was a worthless trick.
Yeah.
And that trick is still playing on us.
Yeah, no. Sorry.
We still being faced by that trick. You understand? If we say we want to drink warm water tomorrow morning, England could say, you know what, you got to drink that water cold, and otherwise you ain't drinking that water.
A trick on you again. Just play tricks on you all the time.
Another trick on you again.
Yeah, no.
As long as it's going to benefit you. England is punishing Angola to take an idiot not to understand that what we're going through in England is revenge for the revolution. They don't understand. We got such bright people walking around here shining the thing. You mean they don't understand these things?
I'm at his mom.
Oh, yeah, look, come on.
And he said to me this morning the very same thing. He said to me
Wow.
that Torquilla didn't embarrass the British.
No.
Not Barbuda.
And
Not
Montserrat,
Toxicators,
none of them.
Montserrat. But our people did.
Exactly.
And he believed that they have a spite for Angolans.
I've been saying it.
He was
Hammer.
said it this morning. I don't know.
Hammer. You see some of these things what I be hearing on the radio saying? These are things that I talk that I know 50 years ago, you know.
Oh yeah.
A lot of things you hear me speak, even about the sun and the moon, them thing. This is no experience, you know. This thing take many, many years. You understand? Going and following your consciousness in the positive and finding things, and always invite the Spirit of the Almighty in your company. Otherwise, you can't get nothing to do.
No.
You'll be mixed up because the other spirit will be there just having you confused. So unless you could throw that spirit out, cast him out, and invite the Spirit of the Almighty, but you can't get nothing done right. How you gonna get it done right? Only God is right.
Oh, you're right.
Only the things you do in the positive for God is right. What else could be right?
A question for you though, before you move on.
I look at my necktie.
We'll end soon, but listen. Father of the Nation would have given Rasta some land, area acres of land to work there. That was supposed to be a pilot program, I'm sure, to see how we can ramp up food production, right? But it never really came true the way it should have come true.
You know why?
What caused that to happen though? You
Politics.
Politics too?
Yeah, politics. Politics destroy just about everything here, you know. And votes. The want for votes. The hunger for votes is what destroying it. You see that? You see that? I'll invite voting. If you think that Angolan problem now, our problem is good yet.
So you feel that the politics destroyed area because I mean you got the plan.
They destroy everything that Angola.
supposed to plant food for Angola.
Good.
A lot of food too.
Good.
Webster said they're gonna have food security.
Good.
Webster given the land to work the land for many years. Rashi doesn't try for himself. For the most part, he by himself.
And how they lose it back?
And
Who take it?
It's gone. Yeah.
Who take it? But I'm on. 60 years ago, 59 years ago, we had two parties here, the hat and the hand. And nobody can get me to believe or to understand that we don't still have the hat and the hand. You understand where I'm coming from? And this is facts. That's why fellas like me who was in the revolution, we gets nowhere. Because the hand was never for the revolution. The hand is what take us back to the British. The hand, that Anna, take us right to the front, right to the waterfront of the British. And you know who finished taking us in? The fellows who are going to buy property there now. So it'll be sitting right in the heart of England now with the enemy. With the enemy. They wanted to sacrifice 7 soldiers and then declare war on Angola. You know what that's supposed to mean?
The British.
Well, that was the orders they were given. But these bright people in Angola who said they went to school, and when that school, them so smart. How come they don't mention these things in order for the people out there to understand, boy, this history thing is a thing we need to know. We destroy ourselves. Not me personally, but we as Anguillians, we are worthless, we are wicked, we are demons, and brother man, all is hell. You understand where I'm coming from? And I ain't gonna ask God to have no pity for nobody. Not even me.
Yeah.
You understand? I ain't gonna ask God for no pity for nobody.
Yeah, my brother.
You understand? Because I'm telling you something. Pity should come from we the people. We are the people who are supposed to have pity. You understand? And don't tell God that you're praying for his name's sake. You don't pray for God. God don't need nothing in his sake. We are the ones have to pray for our own sake. What God, what you pray to God for and say, for in your sake, how God want us sick? Yeah? We are the ones who are supposed to pray for our own sake and ask God to forgive us and blah for our own sake, not for God's sake.
Powerful man, for sure.
You understand? For our sake.
Wasi, our time now just about 9 minutes before 12, Wasi, and
yeah, man.
Running on time now, running on time. Anything else before you go in?
Brother, man.
Before we get out of here, we have quite a bit to
I must mention this again.
Tell me.
I must mention this again. That God will never support a woman that is leader of any country nowhere on this planet.
But I heard you, but then I heard personally too, and I heard
women.
I heard from my good friend Kaniva in the USA saying the same thing. But things have changed a whole lot. We have seen this around.
Who changed the things, Brother
The
Hammer?
world has changed. The world has evolved.
God ain't changed nothing.
You know.
We put ourselves in problems, so we gotta keep changing and changing and changing and changing because we done put ourselves in a problem already. You understand where I come from? God didn't give us 365, you know. God give us 360. By the sort of things we could talk about, but I gotta go.
Yeah.
This earth that God put us to dwell on, right? It is done in 4 quads, and each quad is 90 degrees. Each quad is 90 degrees. 4 times 90. So where the 365 come, you see that 5? That 5 is, that's 5 is how they program you to work for them. We don't work on God time. If it was working on God time, that 5 days wouldn't be there, and every month would be 30 days flat. That's God time. Every month is 30 days flat. When God put his son into being, he was standing in the center of the universe. That's why this earth is in the center of the universe, you know. Other planets is elsewhere. He was standing at a crossroad because it was in darkness, and the Spirit of the Almighty was just, you know, just cruising across until he reached by the crossroad. And I could tell you where the crossroad is, down in Indonesia. Is where the crossroad is. And when the sun take off from there, do you know the first sunrise was in Africa? No, they mean know that. Them study too much of dumbness what man teach them, but they mean study what God show and what we should go after. You understand? And it take off not due east, you know, because if God had put his sun to take off due east, we wasn't gonna have no seasons.
Okay.
So the sun took off traveling up east because she's coming from down under, so she's going east, so she's going up east for 6 hours. And you know where that 6 hours, where the early sun was? Over Africa. You understand where I'm coming from? That first 6 hours that the sun took off. Because the sun, 6 hours behind the sun and 6 hours in front of the sun. 6 hours behind the sun is always sunset. 6 hours ahead of the sun is always sunrise. The sun don't set, it's just doing what it's supposed to be doing, as while they tell us that the earth is spinning. When I know this earth is on 4 pillars, the North Pole, the South Pole, the East Pole, and the West Pole. The 2 East and West poles is in the tropics. But, you know something? But you see,
I got you.
there's so many things to talk about. I could sit here for 2 years without running out saying things, you know.
I know for sure.
I could sit down and just bring food and
We
water.
have a lot to talk about it for sure. We have a lot to talk about, and we know a lot of things for sure. And I recognize that you have a lot of support as well. Your brethren, you know, the rest of man, them, the long way folks, your people in general. I mean, some of what you say, their personal belief in that stuff. I mean, in a big way. But what you're saying about the moon and all that stuff, that is fairly standard. We know that, and things have changed. We know they changed the calendar some years ago. What you're talking about used to be before. What used to be the norm back in the day, they changed it for
Original.
obvious reasons, and saying that they had to fix some issue that between
They lie.
and somewhere there.
They lie. They had.
I read it somewhere there. They changed
God God didn't give me no issue. That is what he did himself, and they tried to fix it
I
after
researched
that.
it myself and said
You
that
understand
we've
where I'm
done
coming
that.
from?
So,
Brother Hammer?
yes, please, man.
The first 4 years, I'm gonna leave us with this. The first 4 years of that calendar, the moon was ahead of it by 21 days.
Okay.
So 8 months would have been by 42 days. Just keep counting. Now you're talking about 2026. So you see the difference?
Yeah, long time.
If just 8 years is 42 days, different. Oh man. To my supporters and my fans and my friends, not my enemies. I don't want a thing to do with you guys as an enemy.
No, man, you must ask for forgiveness.
No, Tina.
Pray for forgiveness.
No.
Pray for forgiveness.
But Hammer,
Forgive the enemy.
but Hammer,
Yeah.
but Hammer.
Yeah.
Every enemy out there of yours or mine, they know better.
I know.
So don't tell me that you can willfully be my enemy and I'm supposed to sit down in your lap.
No.
If you do something to me wrong by accident, Brother Hammer, I could turn the other cheek. You understand? But you can't willfully do me wrong and they can turn the other cheek.
No, you won't.
Not just later.
My brother, peace and love. Okay,
Respect to other people.
Peace, man. Peace, all right? Rastaman Wasta Sharon, all the best. Have a great weekend. Okay, all the best to you guys, all right? Okay, so Rastaman Wasta, they're the team, and they're here, guys, and so Wasta is out of here. So, folks, you can check us next week on Thursday, God's willing, around the same time for another presentation. We thank you for listening. So, in a bit, folks, we'll have Minister of Social Services, yes, Education, Shelia Rogers Webster, join me next on the deck here in Class FM on our Thursday program for today, and quite a bit for us to unpack with Shelia Rogers Webster today on the program. She is the Minister of Education, Social Services in our country, and culture as well. And so there's a lot going on in those areas right now, so for sure. So, wasting no time, we're already just about 3 minutes before 12 o'clock. It gives me great pleasure to welcome to the Class of Thursday platform Minister of Education, Social Services, Shelia Rogers Webster. Shelia, good afternoon to you. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Hammer. Good morning to everyone listening in Radio Land, Facebook Live. It's always a pleasure to be in the studios of Class FM.
Yes, it is, for sure, and we'd like to have you here as well. Now, in terms of the happenings out there, I know I listened to you today on the program here, and some clips we were provided with from your team, and I heard you batting on a particular issue, the issue of contributions for legislators when it comes to pension system scheme. It is, I heard that, and after what I learned that there was a move, actually, a motion brought by the opposition side that came up for conversation. Also, it was yesterday or today. Yesterday, really, someone called me about the schools here, the campus the quarter, and the quality of work at the school, and asking me to come and see the leaks and all the stuff that are happening there. And I told them the leaks were, I'm aware of that too. I would have heard that for some time back about the leaks. And we will speak about first of all, we'll speak about social services and what's happening in that area as well here today on the program. But first, I wanted to begin with that area there where we touched today on that recording, the issue of contributions are paid by parliamentarians into the pension system. That has become a hot button issue now. The opposition side made a move where they move a motion apparently, and I saw that yesterday. And you went to great length to explain to people in Angola what exactly was happening there. And I thought you did a great job on that as well to explain the happenings there, because this has been a talking point for a long time in Angola.
Absolutely, Hammer. Thank you for that. You are correct. The opposition did move a motion, and I think part of my presentation was also explaining to the general public what exactly is happening, because there would have been an individual that would have said that Mr. Merrick Richardson is bringing a bill before the House of Assembly, and to give the impression that after House of Assembly on Tuesday, we would have to vote on this and it would go forward. So I thought it was important to explain to the general public that this is simply a motion that the opposition is bringing forward, which essentially is encouraging the government of Angola to make the pension contributory. A motion, by the way, that we welcome. But I thought it was also important because I have personally done quite a bit of work in this regard. I was the individual within the team that was charged with leading on it. I feel very strongly about it. I think it's important to make it contributory. But I also think we needed to look at the wider piece of legislation, not just that one note of making it contributory. And I thought it was important for us to do a wide overview of the entire piece of legislation, because again, there are different nuances within the legislation. Everything in the legislation may not change. There may be adjustments to the legislation, different things will happen. But what I would have done is I would have created a memo document and submitted it formally to cabinet for consideration on a number of areas on that. And the biggest and main thing was making it contributory, because I think all of us agree, and it was good that the opposition brought it, because it signals to me that they are in support of it. And so when we do bring the legislation, we shouldn't have too much pushback. But I wanted the general public to understand that there was actually quite a lot of work that went into, the research, the comparative analysis and stuff like that, that went into that prior to us getting to the point where we're actually at. Yeah.
All right. So, folks, you would have heard that. All right. Now, that's one aspect of things. The other big issue, though, continues to be the issue that is still being labored by the housing side. The much talked about proposed government purchase of commercial space in the UK. That appears to be a hot topic really out there still among the brothers and sisters who are beating it really. And I listened to the Madam Leader and yourself and others who have been making the case for it, and you've been saying it's an investment.
It absolutely is an investment, Hammer, and the opposition is actually positioning this London house. And I got a peek from an insider, and one of the things the insider said was to be honest with you, this is an insider from the APM administration, they said, to be quite honest, that's really been the only thing we've been able to latch on to, that we've gotten traction in relation to. So that's why we keep pushing it, right? So, and that makes sense, but the opposition would give you the impression that our main focus is the house in London. But I can tell you, Hammer, on a daily basis, the house in London forms a very small portion of anything that we're doing in regard to our ministries. We have a mammoth amount of issues that exist right here in Anguilla that we are troubleshooting around the clock. We've told the people of Anguilla this is an area of interest that we want to acquire. A due diligence process is happening, because we have to ensure, Hammer, that what we do purchase is a worthwhile investment. Yeah. So various assessments are being done, because as you know, our premier is very, very meticulous. And when a decision is made, she needs to make sure that it is not just the right decision, because I think we're all sold on the fact that, we need to have a certain level of representation in the UK. We need to have a base in the UK. We are the only overseas territory at this point who don't have any sort of base in the UK. Persons in the same opposition party indicated that they were interested in having an office in the UK, but they were going to rent. So I guess the issue is not having the office. If they were looking at it, I guess the issue is not purchasing a property. I don't know. But at the end of the day, Hammer, it's a very important investment, and I hear people all the time talking about going independent. And I wonder if we really understand what needs to be in place to be able to go independent. And once you're independent, having those various embassies and points of contact around the world, which is quite costly, Hammer, by the way. If you look at those independent countries like Barbados, St. Kitts, and I've engaged with a number of ministers in those jurisdictions, and they've provided me with factual information, and they spend millions of dollars on a yearly basis to run those offices globally because they're independent, and it is important for them to have global representation, whether or not they are tied to that particular country. If they have citizens that are based in those countries, those citizens need to be represented. Those embassies are important spaces for lobbying, for resources, to get your people trained. So again, when we talk about going independent, I think people get the impression that one day you'll get up, you'll be independent, you'll be able to function on your own, you won't need anywhere in the world, you'll be able to exist. And so, I think it's important when leaders talk about independence, we give people a bigger picture of what is necessary, because independence is important. Every single country needs to aspire to independence. But as a country, we also need to be preparing ourselves and our country for independence.
And maybe we should note as well that the great UK, the colonial power, They have buildings everywhere.
Of course.
They own Old Town.
Of course they
Old
do.
Town is a British government.
Of course.
Near Angola.
Of course,
And they have
the British,
buildings everywhere.
the British have properties in the U.S. They have properties in Dubai. They have
Everywhere.
properties all over
Everywhere.
Europe. So
They own
again,
them.
this idea of owning a commercial space in the UK is not very far fetched, and there's so many different benefits. And the Premier would have put it so well in one of our town hall meetings with an interaction that she had when she went to the GMC, and she was actually talking to BVI at length, right? And they were talking about all of the various services that they offer out of their London-based office and the support that they give to their citizens, whether it's new students coming in, whether it's people coming in for medical, and she said when in return, when asked, what do you guys provide, she said she was embarrassed because she said she felt so far behind, and we were so far behind as a country in terms of what we are offering. So again, it has made for good political football, but I want the general public to understand that the House in London is not this administration's main focus. We have so many other ongoing projects and issues at home that we are fully focused on and committed to really progressing, and I don't want people to get the impression that on a daily basis our only focus is the London House. We know it's the focus of the opposition, but it certainly is not our only focus.
Yes, sir. All right, so folks, you heard that. So they're pressing along with that proposal purchase, and they're doing the due diligence processes right now that they're underway. They're happening over in the UK, and once that is true, the plan is to purchase that space. And one of the criticisms leveled though against by persons is that the money should be best spent in Anguilla. But I reminded persons what you would have said to us earlier some time ago that that will not stop the government of Anguilla's agenda on the ground in Anguilla.
Hammer, it will not. I mean, Hammer, and let's be very frank, over the last 3 months, we have put out almost 10 million EC dollars in the relief measures that we have put out to the people of Anguilla. So we are not denying our people relief measures. We are not denying our people essential services. A case can always be made for, or we can put that money elsewhere. And that will always be the case, because depending on person's perspective, Hammer, there are people who believe that you shouldn't put millions of dollars in scholarship funding, and I can tell you that because they've said it to me themselves. Why are we sending so many children off to school? I've heard somebody say that to me. We should put them in this area instead of in this area and not send them to school. I've heard people talk about the fact that we shouldn't pump money in some of the social services. People need to carry their own weight. People need to be more independent. So everyone will have their perspective, Hammer, and nothing is wrong with having that perspective. That's why we live in a democracy. That's actually healthy, because when people have those conversations with me, it causes me to pause and think. It may not always make me change my direction or my course, but it causes you to look at things from a different perspective and make different considerations. So, I don't take offense when people say we should put this money elsewhere. I don't take offense to that at all, Hammer, when people say that, and I don't take offense to it because I understand that we all are operating from our individual perspectives, what we see as important. So there are always going to be people that say you should do this or you should do that with the funding. There are some people who don't feel like you need to be putting money in roads.
I know.
People have said
I've heard
why are we pumping money in so much infrastructure? We need to put more money in our people, more money in social services. So again, there will be varying perspectives, but I want to reassure the public that the house in London is not going to take away from our people. It's actually going to be an investment in our people, and that investment is actually going to pay for itself. This is a rented commercial space that has existing clients in it as we speak. So I want people to be very open-minded about that and to be reassured that it is not our main focus at this time.
All right, so good. Now let's speak a bit about education department and the issues of infrastructure in terms of the buildings there. Against today, a couple of folks were reaching out to me about the buildings. Campus Q is a very new building, but there appear to be some issues still lingering there.
Yes, Hammer. Mammoth issues at that particular facility, and I think I've been very open in relation to that. There have been a number of concerns in terms of the quality of work on the property, in terms of some of the materials that have been used, but that's not just for Campus Q. I think it is more magnified in Campus Q because Campus Q is such a bigger structure. But we've also had issues at some of the primary schools, the newer blocks of the primary schools, one major issue we had where new tiling in a lot of the primary schools started to just pop up, randomly pop up. And so we've redone a lot of that tiling in some of the schools, but there's still some that's not done as yet. So what we've done is we're putting a plan in place for the classes that are not done as yet, but we know that they're from that old batch. We're gonna just pop them up ourselves over time and keep replacing them until they're completely replaced. Obviously, if something pops up, you're going to address it immediately. But the others over time that haven't popped up, once you know for sure they're from that original batch, I don't know if it was the tin set or what, I don't know, and I'm not going to speculate, Hammer, but it's very unusual that you have tiles popping up in mass like that in new buildings. That is, it does not happen. So at Campus Q, back to Campus Q now. Campus Q has had a myriad of issues. People talked about the crack, the leaking, all of these things. But what people don't know is that a lot of the windows at Campus Q are also not fit for purpose. The windows can't even open. So what we did a month or two ago is we did a procurement for all new windows for that entire place. And let me tell you, Hammer, that is hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know the cost of windows, right? And all we're doing now is waiting. It was procured through Alba Lake, and we're just waiting on their shipment to come. And once that shipment comes, we will immediately start the process of changing out the windows. So even if we don't get all of the windows in time for when school reopens, you can switch out windows on the weekend and you can take it in stages, but the windows will be switched out because a lot of them can't even open. They can't physically open.
What?
There's a lot of them, Hammer. And when I did my initial assessment, when I came in as minister, these were all things that I was learning on the ground, wasn't aware of. But of course, you haven't budgeted for these things, right? So it was important that happened. And you have to make changes in stages, because remember, this is a brand new building that you've just spent millions of dollars in. But now you have so many of these other things, and that's just one example of many other issues that you have up there. There was a particular area where in the labs you couldn't get access gas in properly. All of that happening, Hammond, and you couldn't get fixed for certain things. So there's a myriad of issues in that brand new building that was constructed. And again, I'm not here to play the blame game for any contractor, any person, or anything. But I think overall there are some major gaps. Another consideration as well that I sometimes think about is the fact that it is on quarter land as well. It's in between the quarter and Stony Ground, Cosbottom area, and we know about the quarter land issues because my grandmother has property in the quarter. The quarter land shifts, and that causes significant deep cracks. Again, it's too early for that, but again, that's also a consideration when you build on property in those areas.
But persons understand the quarter land who are contractors for the most part.
They do. They should.
How to build on quarter land. Quarter land requires a certain type of construction.
Yep.
And especially site preparation for quarter land. And so maybe I'm not sure. But
so we don't know, Emma. We can speculate, but what we can speculate about is the fact that there are a myriad of issues and problems up there, and quite a lot of money has been pumped into the school. Whether it's been repainting, it's been replacement of toilets, facility, all sorts of stuff have been done over time, and we're going to continue to do that. Like I told you, the biggest one right now is the windows, because you have ventilation challenges, because imagine a lot of those windows can't open, but a lot of the rooms are not air conditioned, so it just tells you the heat and the discomfort that would be in those spaces.
Is there any mold issue up there though? I mean, are there in that area? Have you heard about any mold?
I have heard about specific mold area and specific rooms, and to be quite honest, Hammer, this is something I've been asking very regularly, more so now than ever before. I'm hearing of continuous mold issues, and the question I keep asking, and not just with the school, I keep asking, why do we have all this mold all of a sudden? Is it because we have a lot more drop ceilings than we've had in the past, and moisture is being caught in there, the sheetrock wall? So there has to be something that's happening, because I don't think we've had these widespread mold issues, and as much as we have now, and a lot of these are more new buildings.
Air-conditioned buildings with sheetrock walls and that stuff inside of them, and off and on sometimes a bit of moisture.
Yeah. So it's a significant issue, not just up there, but widespread, and you're continuing to have people people go in, test, look at what's happening. So I want persons to be reassured that Campus Q is very much on our radar, but Campus Q also has a myriad of issues and challenges, and so you have to decide how you're going to address each one every step of the way. And the hope is that the new building that's being constructed on that site, those things are taken into consideration as well as they're building this new building facility. And my prayer and my hope is that we don't have these same issues in that new building and facility.
And that's our hope, that is our hope there. The cafeteria, Campus Q, is it up and going? It's still just the cafeteria area?
Yeah, the cafeteria, no food or anything is distributed in the area at this time. They're still retrofitting certain areas. However, it is a open space that is utilized for the robotics camp was held there last year. Okay. And we also have, you said Campus Q, right?
Campus Q, yes.
Yeah. The robotics camp was there. There are events and activities that the school has, during the season when it is utilized as well.
Okay, all right. Now, in terms of social services, that's another big area. I know that's a big ticket area, and the medevacs, they're continuing. I know that for sure, and I know that social services has a lot of work to do as well. You're doing those things. In terms of medevacs, is it we're getting better in terms of less flyouts, less?
We're definitely getting better in terms of less persons flying out. I know a lot more surgeries are being done on island. We've had 2 doctors that we normally would send people to Trinidad, and the doctor has been coming here to be able to do the surgeries here, which is pretty good. We're hoping to have the first replacement surgery done in short order. Mr. Rogers is working hard on getting the tools in place to be able to do that. However, there's still quite a lot of people needing that overseas medical treatment, and this is really an appeal to the public. Persons driving under the influence, we're seeing quite a bit of that. People are getting in accidents and stuff, preventable accidents, and then once they get in those accidents, they need to be quickly responded to and airlifted out. People are having just general accidents that are happening that are very preventable. But outside of that, you also have the challenges with people who are diabetic, who are hypertensive, and who are not necessarily managing their treatment well. And so, we implemented MedAccess, the implementation of MedAccess for uninsured persons who are diabetic and hypertensive. One of the reasons why we implemented that is because we don't want there to be not having money to be the reason why people are not taking their diabetic or their hypertensive medication, because again, those things, the rapid elevation in those things can lead to blackouts, can lead to other things that then you have to fly people out, and those are some of the most costly evacuations. When you have persons who have not been managing their diabetes or their hypertension, and they go they have blackouts and stuff like that, and then you don't get to them quick enough and those sort of things. So we're really trying as much as possible to work with our citizens to really manage those things. But there's also a lot of public health education that we're trying to promote so that people understand how important it is just to eat healthier, to exercise, to work out, to really manage themselves. A lot of these are preventable things, and so we just wanted to push that as much as possible. But in terms of the funding, we are committed to funding. We have the money in place to help to fund and support and bridge the gap for citizens who genuinely cannot afford, who don't have insurance and those things, and we're going to continue to do that. But we cannot just say we're just throwing money at this. We are also making sure that our medical services are actually being improved as well. Like I said, we have the mammography equipment on island now, and so you can really see, that we are demonstrating that we're putting our money where our mouth is. So when I hear all of this talk about not addressing medical services, when I know we are spending millions and bringing in CM equipment, when we are retrofitting an entirely new theater with laminar floors and everything, when we're spending hundreds of thousands in mammography equipment, and I hear people say, we're not dealing with the things at home, that's not true, We are heavily focused on addressing the things at home as well, and I want to thank the team at the Department of Social Development, as well as Miss Kaisha Gums BB, who is the planner in my ministry, because they are the ones who really in social development who really work from our end in terms of the overseas medical treatment. The team at the hospital,
Yes.
the health team at the hospital, Charlene Heredia Ross and Vonnie Romney, they also do an exceptional job from the health side in terms of taking care of the arrangements for overseas travel. So there are a lot of different people, Hammer, behind the scenes that are not out front in terms of this entire process. But I will tell you that team from the health side, as well as the social development side, do a very good job behind the scenes of helping to get people
And I've heard
out.
persons brag about him too over the years. I've heard persons.
Very excellent.
Really and truly, I'm singing the praises of Shirley and her.
Very, very, very excellent.
And Bernie. I heard it from families who would have had persons who flown out of Angola. So that's what it is right now. So things are looking up in that regard as well, in that realm as well. Folks, you heard that. So what is the year, roughly, the year to spend in terms of medical evacuations and medical treatment overseas, roughly?
It really all depends, Hammer, but we've spent upwards of over 10 to 15 million in various years over the years, and it varies. It varies in the type of airlift and stuff like that. But what we were seeing, and that's why Mr. Rogers was so focused on getting the local theater, the second theater operational, is we were recognizing that there were a lot of smaller based surgeries that we could do here that we didn't have to get people out, and that would really help to save, because then sometimes you have to assist not just the person, but you have to assist family members who cannot afford. So it really racks up over time, but it is a heavy cost. But again, you can only address those heavy costs with good equipment. One of the things that the Mr. Rogers is looking at as well is a new fit-for-purpose, state-of-the-art MRI machine. Because as you know, the previous MRI machine that we had in wasn't fit for purpose. It's older, and then if you're a certain size, you couldn't fit inside of the machine. Whereas the new machine that we're going to be bringing in is going to be brand new, state-of-the-art, and then people who are taller and larger will be able to go into the machine as well. Because you really want a machine that's fit for purpose. So again, these are all things that we're actively doing to be able to solve our people and be able to respond. And our hope is that we will reduce the amount of persons that will have to go overseas, because while the medical treatment is not under me, overseas medical treatment is. So from the time we identify that someone has to go overseas, that money automatically comes out of my ministry, and then my team has to be activated to be able to help to facilitate that from the financial and payment side. What I will say, Hammer, though, one of the things that we do need to improve, and this is going to be with giving additional support, HR personnel support, is the support that people get when they're actually overseas.
Yes.
Right? We're going to have to tighten that up and do a little bit more in relation to that, so that persons have somebody in real time that they can talk to continuously, that can advocate on their behalf immediately, when things are happening and sensitive things are happening. Because the team in Angola, of course, they will only know what's happening with you if you reach out to them and you tell them, because at the same time, they're also dealing with a myriad of other people and other patients. So you just want to make sure that when people go down to these other islands, to these countries, that they have support from government that can lobby on their behalf and can communicate. So that's one of the things that I'm going to have to walk through for the next budgetary period. How can we add some additional support once people leave? Because particularly in Colombia, you also know you have the language barrier. So the language barrier also adds a different level of frustration to persons who are there, who are overseas, who are not used to, communicating in the native language and stuff. And though they have translators there, it is critically important that we look at that.
And that is very, very, very important. All right. Now,
I don't want us to move off of education quite yet.
Not yet.
There has been an adjustment in education, as you are aware. Mr. Brian Romney is no longer with the education department. That was effective July 1st. He is now based at the Deputy Governor's office. And so the public administration is going through the process of the recruitment and hiring of the CEO, the Chief Education Officer. I think that that advertisement ended soon. So they ended recently, sorry. So they are going through the recruitment process in short order. And so I want to thank Mr. Romney for his contributions to education over the last few years and wish him the very best in his new role.
So what's the new role?
Moving on. He is the PAS, the Principal Assistant Secretary in the Deputy Governor's Office.
Okay.
Yeah. So there will be changes in education moving forward. And one of the things that I've publicly said is that I feel as though the ministry needs to take a stronger role in relation to education overall. There have been some concerns that have been expressed, certainly by myself and others, in terms of overall general accountability and making sure that we follow through on quite a number of different areas in education, but that we're also empowering and supporting the leadership at all levels in education. We're also supporting, our teachers who are on the ground, who are day by day going in with the students, no matter rain, sunshine, they're there around the clock assisting with them. The teachers are serving as counselors. They are everything. They're parents. They're everything on the ground, because children develop such a strong attachment to them, and they're managing so many different children from so many different socioeconomic backgrounds. But one of the other key things, Hammer, that teachers continue to complain about is the lack of parental support for children in the school system. A number of children have, behavioral challenges, issues, and they don't see the level of parental support that is necessary to work with teachers to be able to address some of the challenges. So one of the things that I've charged my ministry team to do is see how we can, one, help to make parents a little bit more accountable, but also to provide parents with support. Because you can't just say you want to make them accountable, but you also have to provide them with support. So how can we bridge the gap between the teacher and the parent, and not just parent-teachers meetings, because sometimes they don't even show up to the parent-teachers meeting, right? And the parent-teachers meeting are one-off, but how can we really help to build stronger relationships as well? Because like I said, the teachers do have quite a bit of heaviness on them. But again, accountability overall is critically important at every single level, from the ministry level straight down. We need greater accountability. There are a lot of complaints and issues that end up at the ministry level that I feel like if they were sorted out a little bit lower, then they wouldn't escalate to the ministry level. And I usually tell people who come to me, I usually go back and I say, okay, have you spoken to the teacher? Have you spoken to the principal? Have you gone to the education? I go through the list because I want to remind them that before you escalate something to the ministry level, there are mechanisms in place for issues to be addressed, right? The problem comes, though, if the issue is not addressed at those levels, then it has to be escalated. And in those cases, then I would intervene. I would have meetings. I'm not afraid to have meetings. I'm not afraid to be very direct in relation to what's happening. Nobody has all the answers, but I feel like if we are all in a room, if we're all in a room together, we can have the discussions, we can kind of troubleshoot and come up with solutions and stuff like that. So like I said, there is a leadership transition that is now happening in education. And we expect that that transition will happen in short order over the next couple of months.
In the interim, who's acting as the actor temporary CEO right now?
This particular week, Susan Smith is the acting CEO, and then next week it will go back to Rita Carty. She's the acting CEO as well. So there'll be like a rotation sort of education officers until the appointment, the official appointments are made.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Zenita Haven Home, I know that some time ago we spoke about that as well, and are things progressing really?
Finally, this week it's supposed to be going out to procurement. I actually have a program board meeting. You know that the Premier put a program board in place. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the Premier put a program board in place because we were unhappy with, I'll be frank, we were unhappy with the progress of a lot of our capital projects. So the program board meets every Friday, every 2 weeks. It's a heavy meeting where we have everybody who is involved in the capital projects. They come to that meeting and they meet with all the ministers, all the permanent secretaries in the various areas, and the deputy governor, and we go through the various projects. And so we have a program board meeting tomorrow and so I'm supposed to get an update. But this was the week that I had jotted down where they told me that it would be going out to procurement. So I expect that Zenita will be finally going out to procurement this week, and once it's procured, work will start immediately because like I said, the money has been budgeted for, and there's even more pressure now as well too because the airport extension is happening.
Yes.
Zenita is in the pathway as well, but also the persons who have been managing Zenita, the Zenita staff, they've been operating in this less than ideal space, and we really need to get them out of the space because the space is quite small. So even staff who are walking there, the quality of the tight space is less than ideal. So we want our residents in Zenita to be comfortable and happy, but we also want our staff to be working in a good environment. So I know that this was something that peeved me for a while, Hammer, the delay of it. But finally, I think we're at a place now where we're going to be able to send it out to procurement. So fingers crossed that process doesn't take too long.
Take too long at all. Okay, I'm hearing that now. Now, culture, a bit about culture. I know that you were instrumental in getting us to the point we have the Federal Commission now on the way here. You work on that as well. Our work in progress. Our work has been ongoing for so many years, and your assessment of it now. We are now testing it for the first time.
We're now testing it for the first time, Hammer. But again, we still are not on all cylinders because we don't have the full administrative complement as yet. So again, there are a lot of voluntary hands that are helping in place in the Festivals Commission, and I want to talk to persons about that. First of all, this is pressure time, Hammer.
Right now.
While I was sitting down there just now, I was talking to the Summer Festival finance representative, and we were back and forth sending some heavy emails because I'm going to be exerting some pressure on some of the committee chairs very soon because we need to make sure that our budgets are tight, and I have a good idea of how much we are short by, how much we need additional funding for, because right now is my begging season, right, Hammer? So I have to go real hard, whether it's to the Ministry of Finance, whether it's on the street, as much as possible. So I'm telling the chairs, I need to know exactly how much I'm begging for. I can't just be begging without exact figures, right, Hammer? But again, I want to say thank you to the Summer Festival Committee sub-chairs, to Mr. Tomlinson, who continues to take the lead and charge on the Summer Festival Committee, but also to the new CEO of the Commission. As I don't think people understand that the commission is still separate and apart from the committee. Amber Whitley has come into the role, and she's done a very good job of springing into action, very hands-on. She didn't have any administrative support because we're still in the process of hiring those roles. They've closed off the period, but now they're in the hiring phase, and so she's been taking on a mammoth task, running around doing everything, thrown into the procurement stuff. She's done all of the procurement and stuff like that, and I want to thank her for all of the work that she's done in relation to that. I also want to thank the Department of Youth and Culture for the support they have provided throughout the process as well as just the sponsors and the mammoth grouping of people. We also have had a recent secondment as well of Sharon Richardson Lowe from the Anguilla Tourist Board. She'll be based at the Festivals Commission, certainly for at least the next year as well. And so I want to thank her for taking on the challenge of being seconded over to the Festivals Commission. She's somebody who has worked closely with Mr. Benjamin in the past as well. So Sharon is no stranger to that either. So we're just hoping that having a very all hands on deck approach is going to be critically important. I think that the Calypsonians hopefully are a little happier now. I know they were a bit peeved before. Everything is not perfect for them, but I will tell you, Hammer, Calypso is difficult. It is difficult. Very difficult. And as I told them when I met with them, I said, let me tell you, I went high and low trying to find people to serve on the Calypso committee and the Calypso chair, and it is not easy. It's a lot of pressure. At one point I said, well, I have to be the subcommittee chair because I can't find anybody willing to, and you know why, Hammer? You know the Calypsonians, they're very passionate, they're very strong, and they come hard. And I guess I'm used to them, and I don't take it personal because I work with them from DYC days years ago, and I know how passionate they can be, and I don't take it personal. You know, I respect them, I respect respect the art form, and I try to engage with them as much as I can. So I was happy when we were able to iron out some of the challenges, despite not having the buy-in of the normal sponsors.
You know, and when that occurred, meeting took place, they came right back here and they said, "Thank you, Shelly." They came back here, and a whole lot of them came to the studio, to Calypsonians, and they were singing the praises of you and the team. So that's a good thing as well. So they're happy and seem to be in good place right now, getting ready for this weekend, folks. As that Saturday coming, will be the semifinals of Calypso Show, the Atlanta Bowl Cultural Center as well. So that's coming up. All right. Okay. So looking good for Carnival again. The summer festival, the Festival Development Commission is working. It seems. Yeah.
Yes.
So far, so good. And I've seen Brigham at work. I've seen I'm at work too. They're working every day.
They are, and I also want to thank all of the sponsors who have come on board, who are with us. But I also want to thank two key statutory bodies who have been supporting us a lot this year. The Anguilla ANC Ports Authority has really not only supported us financially in a big way, Hammer, but they've also given a lot of their resources. They've opened up the ports to us. If anybody is traveling and you look at the ports, the Anguilla Summer Festival has branded our ports from top to bottom.
Tomorrow, they're gonna have a lot of big things tomorrow.
A lot of big things starting from Friday.
Yeah.
If you're coming into our ports, you're getting food, drinks, entertainment, everything. So the Anguilla Tourist Board has also done an amazing job. The Chief Marketing Officer, Kendisha Hall Prentice, has been out front interviewing persons, whether it's been Poker Run, whether it's been the pageants, the shows, really bringing that additional energy. Kerry Rogers has also been working with Malentia as well in terms of promoting. So there's a lot of additional visibility over the next 2-3 weeks. So I want to thank them for a lot of the work that they've been doing to push the overall summer festival.
That's for sure. That is happening, folks, in a big way there. All right, so folks, just about 24 minutes now before the 1 o'clock hour. I'm speaking to the Minister of Social Services, Shelia Rogers Webster. We're getting some updates quickly here. Anything else we should touch, Shelia? I think we covered all the bases.
I think we covered most of the bases. I want to reassure the public that in relation to the schools, we're working very hard to make sure that the schools are up and running properly. There's a lot of repainting that's happening in a lot of the classes. All of that has already started. The grounds and maintenance team know that they have a particular deadline to start grooming the yards and stuff like that. So I've been working very closely with Kieran Kentish to be able to get that up and running quickly. This afternoon, I have a walkthrough with my PAS up at Campus Q. Again, I'm actually meeting with the Board of Governors of the high school this afternoon as well. So I take the opportunity before that to take a tour. So as you know, I'm very hands-on. I try my best to be there as much as possible. I'm only one person, but when things are brought to my attention, I try to address them as quickly as possible. In spite of all the challenges that exist. But I do want to talk about something before I go, Hammer, that is going to be announced very soon. This year, we are issuing an unprecedented amount of scholarships, Hammer. In the first time of Anguilla's history, we are going to be issuing scholarship-related funding to over 36 scholarship recipients at various levels and various areas of study. And this is unprecedented, Hammer. This is a lot of young people having a fighting chance, an opportunity to go to school, to change the trajectory of their lives. A number of them, parents, just cannot afford it. And so when we're able to see this happening, Hammer, this is critically important to us. But another thing that we are also very proud about is that we've earmarked scholarship funding for 5 young men to be able to go off to a technical school in the UK to be able to be technically trained in a number of different areas. So we are also providing the scholarship funding for that. Yeah. And that, Hammer, is actually going to be part of a larger program that we are building out from my ministry over the next year. This is going to be a very targeted and focused program, specifically targeted to our young men, a lot of our at-risk young men who don't have the level of opportunities, who may feel like there's no way for them to get out, no opportunity opportunities, we're really focused on targeting young men. So this is like an operation, target our young men, see how we can support them, but also give them opportunities outside of Anguilla for specialized training. So over the next year, we're going to be pulling together that program and project, but we didn't want to wait. We had these young men, we were approached by Miss Dahlia Shields, who has been doing her own work in the area of reforming young men, and she has said, this is something that I've started. Can the government of Anguilla support me in any way? I have 5 young men that I'm trying to get off to school and technical training, and we sprung into action and we said, yes, we're going to support them. Now we're going to reassign funding to make sure these young men have a fighting chance. And so that's part of a larger project that we are rolling out. But I wanted to let the general public know that we're putting our money where our mouth is in terms of training our people.
It's important that you do that. Training is very important for the future of the land, for sure. You must have a new cadre of youngsters prepared to take the mantle and move Anguilla forward, and that's a great idea. It's visionary thinking, and I love the way you work, Shelia. Just before you go, though, in terms of the Anguilla infrastructure program, I would have noted this is the heaviest infrastructure budget we have seen in
history.
Anguilla. And but the issue has been the rollout. You mentioned that there's now a committee in place.
There's a program board. So the program board is meant for accountability, so that those responsible for program management come before the board on a 2-week basis to get updates on the amount, because like I said, we are into July. More than half of the year has already gone, and we're not necessarily happy with the progress of a lot of these major projects that have been budgeted for. So, but again, it's not just about putting pressure on the existing persons. We recognize that we're asking a lot. This is a very ambitious request of them, and we recognize them. So we have also brought in outside support as well for persons. But for us, it's just about making sure that we understand that this is big picture visionary goals for Anguilla, and we all need to be in this together, and it's not us against them. We have brought in outside technical support and expertise to work very closely with the teams on the ground, and we need people to remain very open-minded and committed to actually putting in the work that we are tasked to perform.
Makes sense because it's a lot for Michael to take care of, for sure.
It is.
We require additional support to help to move this program forward. All right, Mr. Shelia Rajapaksa, I want to thank you for coming in, and of course you updated us here on your area and other areas too, and I'm sure that listeners and viewers really would have welcomed your engagement today here on Class FM Radio. So thank you, Shelia, and I want to wish you a great summer festival as well, celebration when it comes. I know that you're someone who plays mass as well, so you're looking forward to the break too.
Definitely am. I'm looking forward to the break. It's a lot of pressure coming on. Like I said, especially with the financial time. Every time I see a message from somebody in summer festival telling me about an overage in a particular area, I get like a nervous feeling. But again, Hammer, I love it. This is what I love to do. I see myself as a problem solver. So you bring the problem to me and I will figure out an amicable solution. That's the place that I am at now. I'm a problem solver. So whatever the problem is, let's sit down, let's work together to figure out how do we solve this problem. And
that's a great skill to have within the public service, because over the years, public sector has been difficult in that regard. To move things forward, it has been very hard in itself. And so you are, of course, your background is public service. You worked for many years, about 13 years prior to that.
15, almost prior. 15, so, yeah.
So you're well familiar with, with that terrain really in there. So, and that has benefited you well in this job here. You know which door to knock on. Way to go.
Way to go. Definitely, Hammer. Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Minister, thank you again. All the best. Hammer the bun. Okay?
All right, thank you, Hammer.
All right. Okay, so Minister Shelia Rajapaksa, folks, is Minister of Education and Culture and Social Services in the country in Anguilla, and she spoke to us about a number of areas, a number of issues within the system, and basically providing an update as to how things are, where things stand in her ministry. So we're about to continue, folks, and so while she was speaking to me, I was speaking to the MV McKenna team, management team. They are working on the issue. This morning over on the way from station, they had an issue this morning. We saw online that the boat was smoking white and all this stuff, and I just spoke to Blues a while ago there, Samuel Connor, the owner of the boat, MV McKenna, and he said that yes, they brought her back to the port to the workshop even now, and they are working on that turbocharge unit to get it started properly. And in the meantime, Samantha 2 is that the new boat that they bought some years ago, a nice boat, and yes. So Samantha 2 will be in the run this afternoon up to St. Kitts in the station in those areas. So he said to me that he had put us that they were kind of on the side for a bit, and they are working on that issue with the turbocharger. Now that boat works every day. A nice boat. He bought new engines, everything, and but she runs between St. Martin, Sabre, Statia, St. Kitts, and back, and she goes there every day. So once you run like that all year round, there will be issues because that's life. Human beings come down as well with issues. So, but let alone a vessel, old iron engines. So once you're running 24/7 like that every day, all day, you're bound to have some issues for sure, and you have to keep on maintaining those vessels. Okay, so right now they're into one of those maintenance missions. They are now changing that turbocharger. So while that takes place, they're going to have to use the he said, the Samantha 2, yes, which is the newer boat he bought. Just after that, McKenna will be in the run for the time being until they get that boat sorted out. Okay, so just to let you know that. So all is well. The smoke you saw, as I told some friend of mine, not a big deal, not a really big deal, but you get smoke with engines, white smoke. And for those who don't know, it's best you see white smoke than black smoke. If you have an engine and you see white smoke, you're better off. You're better off. If you see black smoke, problems. But white smoke is better to see from my engine. Every time there's an issue, I prefer to see white smoke. All right. So, folks, and we're now here at 14 now before 1. That is our time, and we're getting ready. So, just to give that update from the Blues and Blues family, and the Blues and Blues family, just to give you that update from MV McKenna. So I spoke, as I said to you earlier, I spoke to Blues a while ago there. He said to me that they're working on that issue with the turbocharger. And so turbochargers fail all the time. In fact, you rebuild them, you have spare ones put down as well. At times, so you can have them repaired and have them replaced as well. So they're in the process of repairing or replacing that turbocharger for MV McKenna. And in the meantime, while that's been done, because again you saw the white smoke this morning, so you began to share those videos up and down the place. I saw that too. When I saw that, I noted from right away that it was not a major issue. Maybe the engine, one of the engines, and yes, it was indeed. Blues confirmed that to me a while ago that they are now working on that boat right now. And in the meantime, while they fix that issue with the McKenna, that the Samantha 2 will be making the run today, and today. Between Statia, Sabre, St. Martin, and St. Kitts, okay, and which is a newer boat too. One of the newest boats he bought recently is the Samantha 2. All right, so a substitute in the meantime. So that's what he said to me a while ago. Working on it. Thank you, Blues, for the update. All right, so he said that the situation seems alarming because of the smoke, but it was never really a fire. Never, it was the fire. Smoke you saw smoke. Thank you, Blues, for that. Okay, so folks, I'm about now to pivot here on our first program for today, and I would have mentioned this one to you, Josephine Gumskana and company, and I mentioned Carlisle Rogers as well. I also would have mentioned to you that Josephine Gumskana and Carlisle Rogers are part of a team of lawyers. That Mr. Thomas Eddie Kelly would have employed. Really, to deal with matters. You would have heard this in the newscast that the court awarded judgment in a matter involving Mr. Lyndon Webster. You heard that, and recently, and the number of persons that are before the court really on these very same issues, defamation of issues with Mr. Kelly, and that they have been going through the court system, methodically, and they have been winning these cases all the time. Now, I would have told you as well that we must be very careful with how we speak and how we share. And I told you that social media is also being put to the test now in these court matters. This is a landmark situation, landmark cases, because it tells you that you're not immune from court action. Your cell phone is your cell phone, yes, but your cell phone can put you in trouble. Can land you in hot water, and the persons who would have found themselves before the High Court and the court system in Angola in the last couple of weeks and months here would have learned that the very hard way. Now, we do know that in Lyndon Webster's case, In fact, it goes back to court to assess for damages on the 26th of October. We would have seen that he had apologized publicly. It was read by us yesterday here. We are in the process of posting those, or pinning them to our pages as well. As you're well aware, he made comments here on our page relative to the same situation, and so wherever he made those comments, he's now being instructed via the court to return and make those apologies. But anyhow, to bring it all together for us, I've just been joined by Josephine Gamskana, our good sister, and she is in fact a very senior attorney at law, lawyer here in Angola. She had been to court with Kelly and his team for over all these weeks and months right now, and they'll be back in court again this next week again. So there are more persons who are in the court. It's a very sad situation, but she's here. But she's here to help us put this all in context, because there are persons who told me that Kelly should stop, and just done because people are already seeing how this has gone down, and they're wrong. Forgive and forget and all that stuff. We're hearing it here for sure. So to put it out in frame for us today, and to bring some perspectives, really, I decided to invite Josephine Gamskana in. From her business schedule today, she's working on these cases and other matters too. She's a busy woman, but she's going to help us to understand where we are and how we got to this point, and maybe even for us to understand the new era we're in terms of social media and our responsibilities as users of social media, because I believe that oftentimes we believe we have a phone and we are not even sure of our responsibilities, really, and we do crazy stuff. We share, we post, and without considering what the dangers of that in terms of what we post. The impact can have on other people's lives and even our lives too, because in this case of these persons here, they are facing life-altering situations being brought on because of these devices. So, Josie, let me say a pleasant good afternoon to you, and welcome to the program. Nice seeing you, Josie.
Well, tell me, welcome back home. Anytime I come to the studio, this is like home. Definitely, this is like home. Absolutely.
Welcome home. Now, Josie, yes, and so we're here, and
yes.
So I want you to put this in context first, because there's some persons who are saying, "Lord, have mercy." They're not wrong. Forgive and forget. The Lord says, "Turn one cheek and then turn the other cheek," and don't slap like that and all that stuff. I heard so many different topics comments from persons who along those lines. And all this stuff. And I've seen some persons who are no personally involved in this thing. I feel for them too. Where are we? And then explain to us how we got to this point. Because, some people may have forgotten.
Well, before we get there, Hammer, let me open by saying yesterday on social media, credit to Drag Shakespeare, just skimming through, and I saw on his page a simple statement. It says, "Your name is your brand. Don't let anyone play with it." Let's start. Yeah. That to me puts this whole discussion into context. Your name is your brand. Don't let anyone play with it.
That's right.
And I think it's the best place to start, because it is important, I think, that people understand that many times as individuals we are growing, we have businesses, we act in capacities where we represent people, we represent their interests, and in doing so over a number of years, you are defining who you are. Not just as a person, but how you do business, and what you stand for and what you represent. That's ultimately your brand. Hammer, your brand as Class FM is a radio station that is open to the people, that can be, you make yourself accessible, you tackle hard-hitting issues. People know you to act fairly. They may not agree every time with what you say, but they know the place from which it comes in terms of your solid standing and fierceness to protect certain key pillars. That's who Hammer is. Therefore, if you have somebody that is suggesting that you have become this scurrilous character. You will pay to play. You don't stand and represent the interest. Then it is destructive to your brand.
It is.
Now, this is the scene that our friend, that some know him as Thomas Kelly, I know him as Eddie.
Eddie, yeah.
This is what Eddie was faced with. I often say to people when they talk about this case is, we have to understand that the Eddie that we will pitch marbles with and we will meet on the block and sit down and chat and so on, is also the same Eddie that sometimes has to put on a suit and appear on Wall Street to converse and represent the interests of clients. He's also the same Eddie who is passionate about his country and who will do what it takes to defend his country. He is also the same Eddie that is the son of teacher Aurelia, who had certain key principles that today he cannot depart from. Good. Eddie has his brand and he has his name to protect. Now, everybody would be familiar at this point with this video that was compiled and was used to create a very damaging image of Eddie. If you were not on Anguilla soil and knew Eddie personally, and you saw this video about this person, you could not at the end of it think highly of the person. It was meant to damage.
Yes.
And Eddie had to come to terms with the fact of whether he was going to allow, in circumstances where people were calling him, where concerns were being raised, as to whether he was going to protect his name or allow it to flounder in the mud.
Yes.
He took what any respectable person who values their reputation and values their brand, what they had to do.
Defend the brand.
Good. Now, there are several cases that concern this video and which Eddie had to take legal steps against. And I want to be clear, I'm just one of many. Eddie is being led by a very solid King's Counsel, Mr. Nanya Smalls, who is has her own reputation when it comes to leading in the courts. Solid individual.
Solid.
So I would even say that even though I'm senior to Carlisle is really the person who has been doing the heavy lifting along with Ms. Smalls in terms of this case, and I have also been along with them. But what this case, so my discussion today, because I know that you categorize it as a judgment of the court. It's really an order of the court at this point in time. The full amplitude of the case with Mr. Webster is not completed because, as you've shared, the aspect dealing with damages and where there will then be a final judgment comes up later. So my discussion this morning with everyone is really at the stage of putting this into context in relation to the order of the court. And I thought it was important for us to raise it even at this stage because I think it is important that Anguillians understand what this matter is and the other matters that come before it, how consequential these are. When I sit back and I look at this matter, you will remember, Hammer, the case of Edison Beard and Don Duncan.
Yeah, remember.
Which I think was one of the foremost kind of published cases on defamation in Anguilla. And that, you remember, was when Don on a platform had referred to Mr. Beard as a headless chicken or a chicken without a head or something. And Mr. Beard then a politician, took an affront to it, and he brought a case against Don, Mr. Duncan, which Mr. Duncan, and I too was involved in that case. He was successful against Mr. Baird on that. And I want to raise that to show one aspect and why Anguillians as a people, we have to start to understand certain legal dynamics. Mr. Baird was a politician, and the law of defamation will show you that when you are a politician, there must be a little leeway. You have to give a little flex to the fact that there may be things said against you that, you know, they're not nice. They're not tasteful. The law still draws a line if you go as far as to describe that person in ways that reflect whether criminality or fraudulent conduct or so on. The law will draw a line on that. But if you say something that what we would say is uncharitable, it sounds so sweet, man. But you know, as a politician, the law will say, well, you know, you put yourself out there to the public in that position, you have to give a little leeway to things. This case with Eddie is different. And this is why it is going to be one of the landmark cases for Anguilla.
It is.
And which will extend outside the shores of Anguilla.
Sure.
Because in this particular case, what they did, whoever were the designers and the creators of that video, was seeking to malign and to damage, using very, very strong terms. Fraudulent conduct, criminality, you know,
That's right.
In ways in which ultimately is only one thing you can assess from that.
And even the way how
damage.
even the way how they were able to couch the still pics and the pictures.
Precisely.
And all this stuff.
You were left in.
Yeah.
If
It
you
was
didn't
really
know Eddie
vivid.
before,
Yeah, man.
when you see him down the road,
Yeah, man.
you will now know who it is.
Yeah.
Because here was a video. And so
It was deadly
I
stuff.
want to share with people that this video was a very damaging. It was meant and calculated to malign. It was calculated to lower him in your estimation about who Eddie is. Calculated. So, having done that,
Narration.
right?
Deadly.
Having done that, Mr. Lyndon Webster was one of a few persons who felt emboldened to put this in and on social media, using Facebook as one of the platforms on which he was going to do that. Yeah? Now, for those people who say turn the other cheek, this case didn't have to go there. Why? Because he was given an opportunity before any case was brought to apologize. Yeah? Remember, this video was based on 0% truth. Zero.
There was no truth.
Absolutely no truth. He had the ability to apologize. And so for those people who want to go back to the good book and refer to those phrases, I am sure our good book also is very clear in showing that if you know you are wrong, seek forgiveness. So don't forget that part when you want to balance out what the action of the person should have been. They had an opportunity to apologize immediately.
Okay.
I believe there are those who would have seen on Facebook when Mr. Webster tore up the pages of the letter. Tore it up.
Yeah.
And questioned Miss Small's ability to be
Practice
law in Anguilla.
Anguilla, yes.
So those persons who are making those comments, what does that tell you? Was that in the nature of seeking to repent?
That went viral, the tearing up of the lawyer letters and all that stuff, and then the words that followed that. I recall his commentary after that was quite interesting as well.
Precisely.
Yeah, very interesting.
Precisely, Hammer.
Yeah.
No. So I want us to be clear that it is within the context of Mr. Kelly having to protect his name and protect his brand, knowing that there was 0% truth to what was been done, to take the action that he did. Because clearly, Mr. Webster and others were very content to say they are not going to apologize.
You know why?
We're going to get to the why.
Yeah.
Good. So, I have to applaud, because I have to applaud Mr. Kelly in setting the new temperature for Anguilla, that a person's name is their brand. So do not be, you mightn't like the person, but be very, very careful about how you try to malign and damage them. Mr. Webster is learning his lesson. He's learning his lesson. Good. Now, I'm tackling this in various points, Pamela. I also want to share with the people of Anguilla that what this case also, as far as we have reached in it, demonstrated, is that there's a line to be drawn with how you think you act out there and how you're going to act in court. There's a line. And I, in the context of the fact that we have another new judge in Anguilla, I want our people to understand that there is that line to be observed. Now, Mr. Webster, in terms of his conduct in court, felt that he could adopt this approach that he has to the outside world and how Eddie means nothing and what he says he has said. There's a difference between that conduct out there and what you're going to have in court. So, for example, Mr. Webster wrote to the court before we came to the High Court, wrote to the court and said he will not be participating in anything further.
What?
Right. Yeah. So, when we came to court, it gives the impression by that as though when we have to serve him documents or he will not be participating in the court. He came to court and brought that energy. So, when at one point in the court is telling, brought this information, this came up. Mr. Webster stood up when the court is talking and said he will never apologize to Mr. Kelly. And if he has to go to prison, he will do so for Anguilla, because this is just a political case against his brother. Yeah? He made one or two outbursts, and the court put down its pen and reminded what I think is not just a message to Mr. Webster, but is a message to Anguilla. And so it is in that context that I'm sharing this information, that the court will not entertain disrespect of its institutions. So our learned new judge, Honorable Justice Glasgow, said he observes that there is this kind of disrespect to some of the pillars of our state, whether it is the police, whether it is the court, that you can be thinking that you can be disrespecting the court, and it is not going to happen. So when after two of the outbursts that Mr. Webster made, the court summoned the police officer to come and sit behind Mr. Webster and to remind him that if there were one more outburst from him, he would be leaving there and go straight across to Her Majesty's prison for the obvious contempt of the court. So Mr. Webster knew how to behave himself after.
He turned up.
And so I'm sharing with the public that the conduct that sometimes you have out there, when you come to this court, comport yourself appropriately. Comport yourself appropriately. So, Mr. Webster, who said he was prepared to go to jail for Anguilla, when he received the apology, in less than 24 hours, he signed it and delivered it. Now, I say that to say this. It tells you, and it should tell Anguilla, that when you have people who are prepared to pilfer, malign, damage you, they don't care. When it comes to the nuts and bolts, knowing what they did was wrong, they are forced. Only when they are forced, they do the right thing. Okay? So I mention that because I want us to understand a lot of different things. So when you see the bravado out there to damage up people, when they come to court,
it's a difference. There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Yeah, but settle right down. The court have a way of humbling people, it seems like. I've come to that realization as well. They humble right down, it seems.
Not just humble them, but it brings them to the conscience, which is what it should do. Brings you to the conscience.
Yeah.
Zero truth in what was being published out there. But you were happy to continue to do it out there.
And they had time to retract it, and they refused to retract
before
it.
the case even starts. A letter is written to you and ask you to apologize. So if you don't utilize that option, you're leaving the person with only one course. It's either, Eddie, allow that video to continue to be there, be seen by the world, be damaged by it, and do nothing, or defend your brand and defend your name.
He could not have done that. He had to defend himself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, someone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the terrible thing. Because, and also what happens is that when those things go out there on the world, on the web, it creates a footprint. A digital footprint is there for all to see.
Absolutely.
So most people, when they have to meet you, they go and Google you first. You realize that meetings in these days are like that. Before people meet you in the office in a way for a meeting. Engagement, they Google it, they run a background check on who they're dealing with.
Correct.
And all those things will pop up really somewhere in there, you see. So
correct.
All the more reason for him to ensure that this is taken care of.
Yes, he had to protect his name. This was the most. I personally was shocked to know that this. And remember, we are in the era of AI.
Oh man.
We are in the era of AI. So you were creating this damage and allowing people to put it on Facebook. But I have a larger point, Hammer. And to the extent that it is Mr. Webster who referred to the political side of things, I have a very large point. What this case demonstrated for me, and it is not complete, and so I'm acting and speaking only in that limited framework of where it is at this moment, in the context of the order which your station is required to pin to your Facebook page and publish, and likewise Mr. Webster had to publish it, etc. It is in that context I want to say this. I want the people of Anguilla to understand that this video was published by people aligned to one party. Published on Facebook by people aligned to one party. And I find it shocking, but it ought to tell the people of Anguilla that when you see in an organization that your leaders are not ensuring your protection they're not ensuring your protection, you should be concerned. There was none of the top echelons of the political party, according to Mr. Webster. He's the one, he says, this is Eddie against his brother and because of the politics. Yeah? But there was no, the top echelons, his brother didn't post it. Yeah? His brother didn't post it. None of the top echelons of the leadership in the party posted it. But are you going to, but as we will see in future, as the cases unfold, we will get to hear and we will be coming to the station to show, Hammer, how within the top echelons, they didn't mind posting it on their WhatsApp status.
In group chats.
And in group chats. Okay? So what it tells me is that you have an organization in which you are able to work your deceit, and you are able to work your maligning and your damage behind the curtain. Nobody can see your hands because you're working in the dark. And what do I mean by working in the dark? This video being created, the top echelons didn't post it. But they were comfortable in allowing and in not asking those of the soldiers who are out there to say, no, it's not right.
No.
It's not right. It's wrong.
No.
They were not prepared to do that. No. They were not prepared to do that. So they allowed that to sit in that domain. They allowed it to be in their group chats and making sure and allowing people the comfort of thinking that this was genuine. The little soldiers in there thought that this you see what Eddie doing and so the soldiers were meant to take that message and run with it, while the hands that would have done the creation and everything else, you can't see those hands.
They were sitting quietly somewhere.
Precisely, Hammer.
Yeah.
Precisely. And that to me is the psyche that it tells me, and it should tell Anguilla, be careful of who these are that pose as your leaders. Be careful. Be careful. And we will have more to say on that. But you see, Hammer, when back in 2024, 2025, when I went on the fact that I was adamant that the minister who said that she would kill and bury somebody, and I said to Anguilla that looking at things for me, the long game, I'm not looking at the fact of this was a little political soundbite. I looked at the fact and was deeply disturbed that the fact that there could be no sanction and the fact that the system was massaged and manipulated to ensure that there was no sanction for that gave parts of Anguilla the thinking that it would apply to them.
Oh, yeah.
But I tried to show Anguilla this was exactly the scenario that was telling the people of Anguilla that there will be you and them. There will be you and them. So people like Mr. Webster, who thought that he could come and malign this person and that there will be no sanction for it. He's convicted, knowing zero truth, because his apology is telling you, I knew there was no truth to it. So in his mind, I would imagine, and this is what some people would think, that because they can do it and they have no sanction, and they are not don't have any consequence for their action, that it can apply to you. So that is why people like me, who are in the courts defending the small man, know that that couldn't sit right with me. Could never sit right. Because the young people out there who talk about killing and burying, or who act upon those words, they're in a different space.
Right now.
They don't get away without sanction. And that is why I was passionate. And these kind of actions is what I am telling the people of Anguilla. Do not think that because they were able to get away with it, they were able to utilize the different systems, so that neither from the governor's office, neither from the premier's office, neither from there was no action. As a matter of fact, you had an attorney general who took it out of the criminal circuit.
You did that.
This would not happen to your average man out there. And that is why I was passionate, because these type of cases is where people are lured to think that I too can get away.
Because she got away, I can get away as well.
Precisely.
So that may have been
Precisely.
the feeling among.
He said it's politics.
Politics, okay.
Politics.
Okay.
Yeah. So in their mind, I could say what I want. That minister was able to say what she wants.
Someone told me yesterday here on the program that how are you guys are destroying democracy in Angola? Freedom of expression, freedom of speech is a thing that we all in Angola have bragged about for years, and now it's being destroyed because of these politics. I heard that yesterday from someone.
Hammer, our constitution. I am a fierce a person in favor of our constitutional provision to freedom of speech. But everything, including our constitution, has limits. Oh yes, it has limits.
Where you can go, yeah.
It has limits, and therefore you have freedom of speech up to a point. Yes, you have every right. Several of our fundamental rights. You have freedom of movement up to a point. You have freedoms up to a point. And you have to start to learn what that point is. Let's put it in context. Go and tell your mother, yeah? And give her a string of bad words. Yeah? When we were children. So the same people who are telling you that, tell them when the school bell rang and you're supposed to be in your class, then you're going to sit outside and line. Because, yeah. No, it doesn't work that way. Life is about parameters.
Yes.
So, you know, Hammer, this is why, when this situation happened with Mitch and ABC, and we were forced to go to court, it comes down to people's brand
Every time.
and their reputation. The government, APM government, was giving the impression as though what ABC was seeking was something different. They have never come to the station and said, you know what, there were two other businesses paid out. And this is what they received. No, they wanted to make ABC as though ABC was not transferring its benefits to its customers. It was not. It was flagrant in not treating its customers, and therefore was not deserving. This is the kind of thinking, and that is why Mitch and this family found it necessary to go to court to get exactly what they were supposed to have received outside of a court action.
About persons who may not be able to access resources to be able to fight, because I mean, if the state come after you as a poor person, you could be destroyed easily, because I saw that with Eddie Kelly, this matter there recently, and also Mitch Lake with that matter there.
Correct.
I mean, they could have been destroyed in the process.
And that is completely true, and that is why how the government acted in those circumstances was so destructive against the citizen. They literally brought in a Queen's Counsel to fight Mitch.
They did. I recall.
Brought in a Queen's Counsel, now King's Counsel, to fight Mitch, as opposed to, and this is in circumstances where they had already paid 2 other businesses.
They brought in a high profile and a top lawyer to fight Mitch.
To fight Mitch,
To pay big money.
knowing that ABC was the biggest of the businesses. And therefore, as per the court, the time structure that you set for certain things must apply in a way that takes care of the small and the large. You can't come and ask me to go and figure out 200,000 items in my store. I have to accommodate for every nail, every screw, every washer, and have a code for each item.
No.
And you who run in a store with 1,000 items, you have to make sure, if you're going to make it the law, make sure that you have taken into context the very small and the very large. And the way that they operated with Mitch, there was no other option than to protect the brand and protect the reputation.
Right.
You got to remember, Mitch, this is coming from a situation of his father.
I'm telling you.
A business started by his father. And with the honesty and the contribution to society, he couldn't do less.
No. He was forced to defend
Precisely.
his brand. Now, I have Mitch on the line here right now. So, Mitch, Brother Mitch, let me say good afternoon to you, sir. And I'm sure you heard that presentation there by Josephine Gumskana. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to the program, sir.
Hello, pleasant good afternoon to Josie. Very, very powerful job. So great to hear Josie expound on this issue. I think I want to commend her for coming in today, Hammer, to bring some clarity to this matter. I don't think Anguillians understand the gravity of what we are dealing with. And talking about building a new Anguilla, we are going to build a new Anguilla going forward because we cannot accept the same old going forward. Anguillians have been privileged and they're getting away with a lot of stuff. And that whole story about Eddie should back off. Eddie should not back off, and Eddie will never back off. Because to back off is to allow these people to continue to do the same thing, to destroy their own people, knowing that what they're doing will only undermine the growth and integrity of a nation. We cannot allow this to happen any further. And I want to commend Mr. Kelly for standing strong. I know it had to be very hard for him to go through such a battle, knowing that he has 2 young girls who have to see this stuff on Facebook about their father. Nobody in Anguilla, from pastors down and former ministers of government, saw the need to tell these people, do not do this. You are maligning a good man. You are maligning an Anguillian. They kept their mouths shut. But now that Eddie Kelly took the steps to defend his name, to defend his brand, to defend his reputation, we want to now say stop? No. The full price must be borne by these people. And it will continue to happen if Anguillians do not learn a valuable lesson. These cases must be put as precedents going forward. What not to do when so-called leaders are people who try to influence you to do the wrong thing, who put you in trouble. They're not going to come to your aid in the end. Shun them. They must be shunned. We are a people that should live as one. But sometimes you have to chastise your own very harshly so they learn a lesson and the others shun from their wicked ways and not follow in the same pattern of behavior. And I'm going to tell you something that is even more dangerous about this whole scenario. If you look at it, we are in an era now of AI. This AI video, in my opinion, was used as a litmus test. If this could have bring down a man, the stature of Eddie Kelly, deprive him of his Wall Street job, deprive him of being able to raise his 2 girl children and give them what they need, and remove him from his income, then what would happen in 2030 with AI in the upcoming general election? Can you imagine what the AI videos would do if this one was allowed to go through with all this false information and be able to take down a good man? This will now stop the future AI videos from going forward and maligning people. So we have to allow this process to go forward. We see what happened when the system protect a former minister who should have been sanctioned by the court and who should have received the same treatment that other young boys and girls receive for the said behavior. That former minister was protected. The other people who are now in prison are not protected, did not receive any protection, and the unfortunate people going forward will not be protected by the same system. Now, the person who was protected feels so emboldened, they feel they could rebrand, come out, speak to us, and tell us how Angola should be governed. Really? You should be the first person to go way into the jungle and hide for 10 plus years, seeing that you were given an opportunity not to face justice, but instead they feel emboldened to come forward. So until persons pay a price for what they do, they're going to always come back and do more damage and inflict more pain and suffering on innocent people. You saw what happened with ABC. The former administration never once told the people of Angola that 2 businesses were paid out. They never called their names. They never told them how much they were paid out. But all of a sudden, because ABC had to use good money to fight for bad money in order to get its own money, we should know how much ABC get. Regardless of what ABC got, ABC didn't get what it was supposed to get, because I only did 60% and I allowed 40% to be waived because I couldn't deal with it any further. So the state won my contribution to the country. They're not looking at the good you are doing. And these people want to lead. They should never be allowed to lead in this country again. And this is why we're going to stand vanguard, Hammer. We have to stand vanguard and ensure and remind the people who they are, the things they did, and why they should never lead again. Mr. Webster now is going to pay a price. And the other persons, they're going to pay a price. Why? Because they follow people who want to lead and can't accept the fact that they're no longer influencers in the country. Okay? So we cannot allow wrong state and then say, oh, don't bother with it. This is why Angola is going to hell in a handbasket. We have to take a stand at this time, and we have to punish people for the wrong they're doing. They're undermining good people. They're undermining good businesses, all seeking power, and we cannot allow it anymore. So, Josie, I commend what you are doing. Mr. Kelly, I praise you to the highest level for the steps you have taken, and we want to see full justice. We want to see full justice, Hammer, so that the people of Angola learn a valuable lesson, and in the future will thank Mr. Kelly for standing up and stopping such terror from taking over Angola. Because we have a lot of people who can't get used to losing, who can't get used to not being in power anymore, and want to disrupt Angola from the sidelines. And disrupt Angola at any means necessary, all to seek power again. We must ensure they never get it. We have a lot of good people in Angola who can lead this country forward. Seek them, find them, and put the good people in positions. And the ones who are maligning and destroying people's lives, we have to deal with them at the highest level of the law, so we bring order to our country. Our country is lacking order. There are only a few freedom fighters left who will stand up and defend at all costs. And Anguillans must be grateful to those of us who will still speak out and who will still defend, who will spend our own resources to ensure that a precedent is set so that this kind of terror does not exist in the future. And that's why we stand in the vanguard. And I trust that Anguillans will learn a valuable lesson as we come back and expound on these cases once they are completed, to show the full truth of what has transpired and to bring everything to light and to show why some people should never ever lead this country again. Thank you, Brother Hamid.
Thank you there, Mitch. Thank you there, Mitch, for that, sir. Thank you, Mitch, and well said, Josie. And you heard Mitch really.
Yeah, because Hammer, at the end of it, I just want to say this. At the end of it, what really kind of disturbed me is the clandestine nature of how this was done. This is what disturbs me. Remember, the line of cases that we have coming are those who published it on Facebook.
Yes.
But there was so much of this going around in these WhatsApp chat groups, in which former leaders are associated, and so it tells me that Anguilla, what essentially was being done was that they were working in the dark. I call it. It's so to me really horrific that you are going to be under this veil of darkness, working to malign, to bring down this person, and essentially getting that message out to the to your sycophants, those who are running behind you and what they think you stand for. So you're getting that message out there, putting out there, knowing Hammer, that there was zero truth to it. And so Mitch is dead on point. You were seeking at that time. Remember when that video came out?
Yes.
Our good brother was just getting married.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Getting married to a prominent Kittitian family, a lady from a Kittitian family.
Yes,
and all of that was through St. Kitts. He was having to answer. I mean, when you think about it, his two daughters, the damage that they were seeking to create.
They try to hide themselves so that stuff online.
Precisely. So and like I said, those who were behind this organization, they didn't come and say it with their chest. They didn't come and put it on Facebook if they knew it was true.
No.
They didn't do that.
No.
They put it in their little WhatsApp chat because that ain't gonna get to you know what I mean?
And
In that
perhaps
group.
that's why persons who were asked to apologize did not apologize, because they were sure that this stuff was solid information. It was credible.
It was meant to do damage. You have to remember that from a factual standpoint, this video was being also published at the same time that the leader of opposition was writing to the government, to the governor and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office about Mr. Kelly taking the position in Social Security.
Oh, yes.
This came out aligning. So there was that
Made it seem real.
formal letter in which he never raised the terms
It conveyed
fraudulent, etc. But he spoke about a report in which certain claims had been made. A person can make claims.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah? But this video seemed to have run contemporaneously with that action. But nobody, you're going to tell me, all those people, their chief supporters, that there ain't no truth to that, take it off of Facebook. Take it down! Because there's no truth. Because why? Whoever created the video, they don't want to come and tell their people that no, there's no truth to it. They want that message to go. Yeah? So I'm happy. It's unfortunate because what people don't understand is, as you say, legal matters need legal money. It's a process. So you're having people having to spend to defend their name.
Yes.
And so what Eddie is doing is really, one, he had to do it for his own personal, to ensure his own personal name and brand is secured, but also in the protection of others, because now this is going to be, as Mitch has said, the litmus test
Right now.
as to how, when you want to talk about persons, be very careful and make sure that you are solid in your truth.
You know, and it also brings into sharp focus, Jose, the issue of the use of social media. This is also because the social media is a relatively new media, you know, and the same, you know, we are held to a certain standard in terrestrial media right here, but personal cell phones tend to have a little bit more free leeway. This is now calling into question and sharp focus the use of these devices.
Yes.
Okay.
But Hammer,
you have a certain responsibility.
what it also tells you,
Yes,
that if you are part of a WhatsApp group,
it's trouble there.
if you are part of a WhatsApp group and something moves, if that group is two, then you know who the next person is who shared what. But when that group enlarges, then when what is shared is then shared, know that that too can come up before a court. We will get there.
But that's what
we can get there on that as well.
Because once you cause it to be published, really and truly, I mean, it doesn't matter where it comes from.
Precisely. And publication is not just because it's on Facebook. You can publish from one WhatsApp to another WhatsApp. That's publication.
Yeah, it's publication.
So if something is posted within a group, that's publication. Whoever sent the video in the group.
What required is to say that I received it from XYZ.
Precisely.
Mr. So sent it to me.
Precisely.
That's all you need to hear.
And we're gonna hear that too in subsequent cases. We're gonna hear. We will come to a sit-down discussion with you, Hammer. Because that is no fundamental evidence that came out of one of the cases. Who they got it from. So many people often don't think that, well, I sent it to Hammer. Hammer now did something, others get to hear it. No, Hammer's in court. Now I can ask Hammer, Hammer, where you get it from?
Yeah, he'll give it to you.
Who gave it to you? You understand?
Yeah.
And you are in front of a court, having sworn on a Bible. So you're going to have to tell the truth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those who are creating the groups and putting these scandalous, scurrilous, defamatory things, do not think that you are excluded from the possibility of defamation. It's a publication.
So the court is not forcing you to be responsible, really.
Precisely. Precisely.
So you must analyze, you must exercise good judgment.
Precisely.
When you receive these forwards.
Precisely.
These things,
And if any of those leaders, of that party were in a group that saw it, if you, who are one of the smaller people in there, did not hear one of those leaders say, that is not true, please take it down, then that tells you who they are. Because in the name of politics, we are prepared.
Sacrifice you.
Precisely.
Sacrifice you.
Yeah. So a lesson has been learned, Hammer. I won't say much more on this because this matter is still, this is just part one of two. And the assessment of damages has to take place, which is a separate aspect. But I thought that it is necessary at this stage to bring clarity to that, to this aspect dealing with the apology for the reasons that I have said.
Yeah, and I've been looking at the persons in the last couple of months. This is a lot of work, a lot of back and forth, and I can only imagine those persons who are before the court with these matters and having to go to court so many days. They've been in court now for weeks and months now, and the back and forth and not over yet. This is a lot to take in, for persons who are on the wrong side of this. It's a lot to process.
Remember, I didn't have to go there because remember that you had the opportunity even before this matter came to the courthouse door to say, I apologize. I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are in a different space basically in these times right now, and there was someone who told me earlier, some time back, weeks ago, that in the days of Hubert Hughes and Osmond Fleming and Victor Banks and the older guard, that these things weren't happening. I said, no, we are a different environment now. We now have social media. We have all these devices. And what is said here now goes
Precisely.
around the world
Yeah.
right now. So it cannot be the same.
And even then, I think there was a matter, I think Mr. Hubert Hughes said something against, yes,
Yeah,
and he paid, you see what I'm saying? But those guys would they know when you're wrong. They're not drawing this thing out into no court case and whatever. You see what I'm saying? So, and then you have to remember that publication back then might have been a radio or on a platform. Who was there heard it, who didn't hear, because you never really hear platform meetings past the platform. If you were there and you heard it, that's fine. Or if you, from a radio standpoint. But beyond that, we are now in the era where you have people recording you by phone.
Yes.
You're having, for example, as we learned in some of these cases, if you have your Facebook page but it's set to public, that means more than just your friends. It means the wider world can see what you have posted. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have the nature of the forums now has increased significantly.
Big time.
Significantly.
Big time.
And we are in the era that WhatsApp, when we see that forwarded many times, what I tell you.
Yeah, many people saw the same.
Precisely. So Eddie had, in my view, no other recourse, because if somebody, when presented with the truth, is gonna just tear up the paper and make sure to do it online to say that, in other words, they don't care about how you feel about it, and they are not going to apologize, then you're left with only one choice, and he was therefore left with only one choice.
All right. Well,
Yep.
folks, we heard that.
So-
Yes, so that's how it is, folks. So be careful going forward, and looking forward to hearing some more updates as things move along there. But I'm very sad, though, for persons who were ensnared or in fact are ensnared by these things. But hopefully this is a lesson for others not to fall into the same traps. Because
Absolutely.
a man is not cool, it's expensive.
If
to
your
walk.
leaders can't say it with their chests and put it out there, be very careful as a follower trying to get ahead of them. That's what this lesson is.
That's for sure.
That's what this lesson is.
Right.
Let the leaders do, let them put it out there. And when they put it out there and you want to jump on the bandwagon, you're free to do so. But observe, they don't put it out there. Therefore, you should be very cautioned
Yes.
as to whether you should do that.
Right. Now, before you go, I want to hear you on this matter, though, the issue of the proposed building in London, the government planned portion of a building. I know that some weeks or months ago we spoke about offline about that, and you had some strong views on that as well. The issue of government plan to purchase a building in London space. You're someone who I told listeners to before would have been to England on numerous occasions. You serve as advisor to former Chief Minister, the late Hubert Hughes. You would have been to the FCO, you've been to meetings in London, and a bit about those experiences. And do you believe that there's a justifiable case for for the administration to want to have its own space in London?
I haven't even entered the debate, Hammer, and the reason why I haven't, because I was really kind of very surprised by the persons, when I look, for example, at Mr. Kenneth Hodge, who week after week making posts against it, etc. It surprised me, and I'll say for this reason. Solidly for 5 years, every year, we went to the UK, as you know, for the joint thing. And I will say this. I'm a person of structure, yeah? And to me, when you have to be in the UK, and you have to depend on whether your representative has an office, that you as a government entity have to be depending on their whatever space they have, is by itself a situation to me that does not give the respect that is needed for the office. Remember, as a government, you are a keeper of records. Records should not be based on where my representative has a place. Though, to me, that was an era when you could not do better. You are a keeper of records. Exactly. You are dealing with communication that has a certain level of sensitivity as a government. You are in a space, you are as a government, when you come to the UK, you should be coming to do business.
Yeah.
And if you are going to be doing business, you should have a place of business. And that place of business should not be dependent on whether Miss Dorothea Hodge has a little office somewhere or an office somewhere that we could use her office. Or tomorrow it's Miss Blondell Clough, wherever she has her office, we can use her office. That's not how a government in the 21st century should be operating. When we didn't have much, we were strapped for cash and we couldn't even take care of at home, I could understand your hopscotching. But we are seeking as an island to elevate. And in elevating, we need to be looking at certain look for the future. I believe this in 2026 is probably the most Anguillians that we have had up there in how long? After COVID, so many of our people repatriated to the UK. And in the UK, you have a solid Anguillian community. People who want to do business, they want to transact with their land, etc., etc. Are you going to tell me, with all the students that we are sending up there, that we cannot have a dedicated space that the government of Anguilla can be seen to operate, where we are making provisions for our people to be able to come and if they have certain needs that need to be transacted, that they can be done there? In a space where we are paying for a representative in tourism, but they have to have a different little office somewhere. So when I listen to people like Mr. Hodge, who in my view should know better, because he knows that whereas you want to be able, when we want to have people lobby for things in Anguilla, can you call them to a meeting at your own space where your records are kept to be able to have a meeting? No, we got to find a little restaurant somewhere and to be able to have sensitive discussions.
Imagine that.
Come on.
Restaurants.
Come on.
Yeah.
You understand? When every other Caribbean island has its own headquarters. Yeah. Turks and Caicos has their Turks and Caicos space. BVI, their own space. Bermuda, their own space. And even Montserrat, I think at this point, has its own space. And we in Anguilla got to be wherever the representative have a space, that's where we are.
That's right.
Come on. You know, so I haven't even entered the debate because to me, it's trifling. Now, if, for example, this was something where, I don't know the exact circumstances that led to the where the specific place is going to be. But my point is, if the opportunity arises for us to be able to secure your representative space
in London, right?
In London, where is the house of business? Why are we not doing it? So I believe that if we are having a relationship, and when it comes to land ownership, and I have a different psyche, Hammer, because I believe land is power. And you've always heard me speak to the Anguillians about the honor and the respect and the level of investment that you have from being a landowner. And that is why I've always been very sharply against policies that make Anguillians renters as opposed to owners. I have a very strong position on that, and I have maintained that. So when the opportunity arises for us to be able to be owners and not renters and not visitors, then to me, it is an obvious, because we have business until, and even if tomorrow we were to break ranks with the UK, even if we were to break ranks with the UK, The point is, just like New York, London is a hub. And so if we are seeking to elevate, to amplify our message, to be able to demand the respect, respect comes in different ways. And that is one form of respect. So I see nothing wrong with it. And I expect that at the point that an actual purchase now is going to be considered, that there is going to be that business case made to show, well, this is a building, this is where it is, this is the structure, and we received the various surveys and whatever. And I expect, but in principle, I would absolutely say, if this becomes an opportunity, grab it with all hands. Yeah, sure. We have our people there we have to look for. We have students whom you should be grooming. You should be grooming your students to be able to occupy and start to utilize. For example, you might have young entrepreneurs. If anybody has gone to London, you'll understand immediately why this should be attractive. Yeah? But for example, I'm just going to say, call a name. We have one of our cyclists, Mr. from Blowing Point. Not Hassan. Oh gosh. Oh dear, look. I can't remember his name. But let's say, for example, he wants to have a meeting space to invite some other cyclists or whatever. There's nothing. Our people, you to be able to find space to organize. You might have young entrepreneurs who want to be able just to have access to a photocopier. They want to create their business resumes, etc. And they're living in the UK. They want to be able to transact. You have nothing. And to me, we should be elevating. If you have a center of your people there, find ways to be of service to your people. Absolutely. So I listen. I'm so disappointed, really, for people who I know should know better, because people like Mr. Hodge, as a high-ranking member of the civil service, should understand the importance of your records. Should understand the fact that when you are having a meeting with other persons, whether to transact, you're transacting whose business? Government of Anguilla business, not your personal thing that you can drop you're transacting the island's business. Sure. And therefore we should, at this point in our history, just like all the other overseas territories, we should be owners in a relationship that we are having with until and even if you do differently, there's no reason why you can't entertain that.
Okay, Joseph, I got you.
That's me.
That's your take on that there. I want to thank you for coming in and thank you for the clarity as well, and for the context and that story with Mr. Kelly and what's happening in the courts here in Anguilla. It's always great for a person to understand what's really playing out, because sometimes you hear things and you're a bit confused. But I think that today you really took your time and you really dissected the state of play. We now know what's in play right now, and I'm looking forward to more updates as well. Okay, so I wish you all the best.
Thank you, my brother. And, always a pleasure being in the home studio.
Wish you always, all right. So thank you again. All the best.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
so
take
folks,
care.
Well, folks, I'm just about 2 minutes now before the 2 o'clock hour, and it's here we will put a wrap on our Thursday program for today. And this Thursday, it is July 16 in the year 2026. You hear Josephine Damskanam, well-respected, one of our well-respected veteran lawyers and activists here in Rainbow City, Anguilla. And you heard her today here. I'm sure you heard, and you learned a whole lot as well. So thank you for being here. I'll catch you at 2:30. We'll be live from Motor World for about a half an hour, and then I will be back here with you later on for a session at 4 with the Queen Bee. Have a brand new song for you. So we have a long day ahead of us on today, Thursday. It is one of those long Thursdays. So you hold the spot. You've got Class FM Radio 92.9. Yes, hold the spot, man. That you've got. Yeah, hold the spot.
Support the Anguilla Cricket Association Grand Fundraiser Raffle 2026 as they raise funds to aid in the development of cricket on the island. Fabulous prizes up for grabs. Third prize, a brand new high-quality and spacious stove. Second prize, a high-quality stainless steel refrigerator. And the grand prize, a 2026 fully loaded Cherry Tigger 4 Pro Premium Jeep. Get your tickets now from any member of the Anguilla Cricket Association, Tacklebox Sports Center, TJ's Cafe, Publix Supermarket Rock Farm, or from Class FM Radio for just $20. You heard that right. Only $20 gives you a chance to win bigger. You can't afford to miss out on this amazing raffle. The draw will be held in August. I say, get your tickets now. Special thanks to Motor World and Expander Company Haskins Limited. Spread the word around town. Is the Anguilla Cricket Association proudly presenting a grand fundraiser raffle. Please support the development of cricket on Anguilla.
Rally round the West Indies, one forever.
Sign up for DigiPower Bundle for multiple chances to cash out. Bundle up the power for a chance to win cash this summer. Every week, another chance to win $200. Lock and repeat. Why? 300 a month. Why? 300 a month. 300 megabytes per second with DigiPower Bundle. Bundle up your Digi Plus and postpaid. Get 25 gigs and you can win big. Hey, power. Show them the power. It's only DigiPower Bundle running all summer. Sign up for DigiPower Bundle for a chance to win cash all summer.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Ho.
Get ready for the most anticipated event for Anguilla's Carnival 2026. It's the phenomenal Wet Fest 2026. It goes down Friday, July 31st at the Lansombo Cultural Center from 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. Performing live, Little Boy and Kwandan from Dominica.
I hope you'll find someone.
New Vibes Band from St. Kitts. Collision Band from St. Kitts. InStyle Band from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Skillful Band from St. Martin. Also performing live, Panther Vibes International, YSM Band, and the sensational Jahari Chan. Keeping the vibes right all night. DJ Sibu and DJ Vibes from St. Martin. And representing the home team, DJ Yosh from Anguilla. Get ready for water trucks, swimming pools, foam machines, and more. Dress code, swimwear or beachwear. Bring your buckets, bring your water soakers, because it's time to get wet. And don't miss your chance to win $2,500 for the best Wet Fed song, $250 for the best Wet Fed outfit, and $250 for the best Wet Fed swimsuit contest. Tickets are available now at Changes Bar in the Valley. Early bird tickets are $40 US. General tickets are $60 US. Gate tickets are $70 US, and the VIP dry zone is $125 US, drinks inclusive. Big up to our sponsors, Changes Bar, Calypso Charters, The Ease Oven Restaurant, Caribbean Construction, Sonus Empire, The Anguilla Great House, Titanium Sounds, Upbeat Radio, and Class FM Radio. Don't miss the phenomenal Wet Fest 2026. One night, one vibe, one forgettable experience. Be there.
Anguilla, get ready for an unforgettable summer event. Yes, the countdown is on for the South Valley Community Street Festival. Join us on Saturday, August 1st from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. as South Valley comes alive with energy, entertainment, and community spirit. Enjoy a full day of delicious food, exciting vendors, family fun, great giveaways, and non-stop vibes for everyone. Keeping the energy high all day will be DJ SWAT with live performances by Took and the Boys String Band, Road March Champions out of St. Martin, the Skillful Band, and closing out the night in spectacular style with Boss and the Horsepower Band. Bring your friends, bring your family, and come experience one of the biggest community